Greetings, Vault Hunters all across the 6 galaxies. Welcome to the Bordercast. We're live once again at our usual time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm Tessichka. Here's Mitsu. We also have Mystique and Vanderforge and all the cool people hanging out. Oh, gosh.
Oh, apparently we're mixing things up a little bit, which works for me because this is the anniversary episode of the Bordercast. Welcome, everybody to the show. Happy anniversary, Borderlands 3. It's finally happening. Monday marked the second full year of Borderlands 3's release, and we have a lot going on pertaining to both it and the upcoming game, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yes, we do. We have some special guests here. I'm sorry I did not warn the headphone users before allowing Vanderforge's presence. But that's okay. It's okay. His wonderful Galaxy are protected, most of us. It cannot contain the awesomeness. We have 2 amazing guests on our show today because we have so much to talk about. You guys, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Everybody listening on all of the podcast sites, everybody watching on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Steam. You guys are amazing, and we appreciate you a lot. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for bringing me back. I got the message from Mitsu, who is like, okay, yeah, dead and done. I'm like, they're actually bringing me back again. Wow.
Yes.
That's new. I get invited back to the parties again.
Yeah, they had to bring me on to keep you calm down, though. That's why I'm here.
No, it was funny. I was under the impression that somebody else on the team was going to be on this time around, and I'm glad I didn't say anything about it because I had no idea that Mitsu was bringing you back again. I saw that. I was like, that son of a ding-dong did it again.
I work in mysterious ways.
You make a good team. That's all.
Yes. Team. I like that now. That's nice.
Because
That's nice
we're
to hear.
all on the same
Yes.
team.
Yes,
I know.
exactly.
No.
Huge
So
congrats, by the way, to both of you guys. You're both
Yes.
amazing. I'm so glad you're both next makers. I'm so glad you're both with us on this Borderlands journey. Officially, you have been already for a while, but especially officially now. And hopefully Wonderlands too. So excited about all that stuff. Wonderlands stuff.
Very excited.
Oh, yes.
Vanderforge,
Very
Mystique
excited.
Siren, thank you for coming on the program again. It is very nice to have both of you here. As always, we want to take a minute to thank all our new listeners on iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, and those watching live right now on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Steam, or later on the VOD on YouTube. If you are enjoying the program, we would love for you to give us a big ol' like, follow, or favorite, since we definitely have traditions here about doing so. But there is absolutely, positively, unequivocally, 112% no ritual. Oh boy, it really is here. We've talked about Borderlands 3's second anniversary for the better part of a month now because they announced that they were doing all of these events one after the other, all leading into this new big deal that has been going on at least for the past 48 hours. Although I think it was over sometime yesterday. I think noon-ish is when the events finally ended, but
I would like to take the opportunity to cut in for just a split second
What do you got?
about that 48-hour event and address somebody very directly. Graham, Mr. Prodigy, I know that I tweeted at you about this, and I know Mitsu saw me blowing up Twitter about this. I want you to know how happy you made every single metalhead that is in the Borderlands community. You have no idea the friends that I had surrounding me scouring to get the best rolls on the earworm. And let's face it, it's blue. It's not that great a damage, but every single metalhead had a theoretical mosh pit when you announced that you were bringing back the earworms for 48 hours. So thank you. Thank you. I was willing to do like a 50K Twitter like thing to like bring back the game for a little bit. And you're just like, nah, you can have it now. Thank you.
I didn't know there was such a big metalhead presence. Are you officially the go? I mean, you probably should be, but are you officially the go-to guy for all metalheads out there who also enjoy Borderlands? Because I imagine there's a big crossover there.
I think so.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I think that's an undeniable fact, actually.
Is it bad that I just asked him because I kind of wanted to hear the reaction? Because I knew what it would be. What? I just like pushing people's buttons. What do you want from me?
I am the connoisseur of the extreme metal or extreme music fans in the directory. Generally, most of the time when somebody wants to have an extreme music conversation, they'll seek me out at 4 o'clock in the morning, and we'll talk for 5 hours about music all night because I love music. And it doesn't have to be extreme music. I love music. I love different genres. I love talking about music. It's been my lifeblood since I could cognitively think for myself. So
meanwhile, I have no concept of music whatsoever. I'm like, oh, cool. I love the music from The Sims and Borderlands and Man and What? Whoa, hold on. Wait, conversation for a different day, but we'll get there. Believe me. Okay. We'll get there.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, we were not live as of the ending of this event. So, I'm not going to recap everything that we can't talk about anymore because it doesn't make sense because it's all out of date. But I will say this much. The event was pretty awesome. There was a double event of Loot Monster Mayhem and getting freebies at Maurice's vending machine. So there were plenty of cool weapons and gear and things that everybody, and that's another Graham, thank you. Because Graham is technically in charge of doing those kinds of things, as we have talked about on this show, thanks to Graham, that he shows some really, really strong stuff out there. Vander, you're shaking your head, by the way. I saw that. What do you have? Okay, you have the floor. How do you feel about Graham's offerings to the community, if you will?
Dude, Wayne's World. I'm not worthy. We're not worthy.
Of course you are. Otherwise, he wouldn't do it.
That's true.
It's just further proof of how much these awesome developers love and pay attention to the community and just want to do things for the community. And
I didn't think he'd bring back the earworm. As I said, I was prepared to be like, just give me an obnoxious Twitter goal and I'll blow up social medias for like ever and ever and ever and get people sick of me and start unfollowing me in mass clumps on Twitter. But like, I'll do it just to see if I can get anywhere near close to that goal. And Graham's just like, no, and we'll just, do that. And then, not only we get the earworm back, we got to roll for some stuff. I got some sweet Beccas in the last couple of days. Let me tell you what, I got some El Primo Beccas that I started slapping on a few builds there. And, yeah, essentially with that, I'm starting a new build on Moe's, deathcore, metalcore Moe's, and one of the guns is going to be the earworm. So
nice.
It's gonna be incredible.
So you're gonna keep the metal alive for as long as possible.
The metal keeps itself alive. Graham just did it as a favor.
That's true. But yeah, further proof of the awesomeness of the devs, and in more awesomeness, just like along those lines, they decided to put out some cool codes. So one code we're going to put on the screen, and I will also post it in chat, and I will also post it in the podcast description section if you are listening. This is for the Pop Cycle Vault Hunter skin, the Pain Freeze weapon trinket, and Marcus's Field Trip Echo device. And I'm going to show it to you guys right now. Give me one.
Right now.
There you go.
The Echo device is super, super cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's very slick.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Absolutely gorgeous cosmetic pack. So grab this code for yourselves. It's definitely worth it. And,
every single time cosmetics come out, if I don't have them immediately, I have like an anxiety attack. I'm so attached to them. Every single time.
Yeah,
is it because you're afraid that they're just
every
gonna go
single
away?
one.
No, it's a Pokemon thing. You gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
Eric, actually, way ahead of me, just put it in chat. Thank you so much. And then they also put out, and this one is really, 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 I don't know which one is better. I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not you're a Borderlands fashion junkie like me, and I'm guessing Mystique as well. And I'm definitely Vander and Mitsu also, or if you just want the loot. I mean, if you're like us, really, you really want both. So here is a code for a diamond key for you guys. Now, this one I don't have to put up on screen, but I'm going to put it into the chat. Okay, so this is the code. It is also on Twitter, but diamond key for you guys. Now, this one I don't have to put up on screen, but I'm going to put it into the chat. Okay, so this is the code. It is also on Twitter, but diamond key for you guys. Now, this one I don't have to put up on screen, but I'm going to.
There we go. Oh boy. You've got the code out there? Because diamond keys, I mean, everybody should want one of those like immediately.
Oh yeah, the diamond key. This is huge because first of all, diamond keys are just super rare out of the chest. And then secondly, like I'm like level 81 on my vault card. But I know like there's some people out there that probably aren't, don't have the time to grind out the vault card. So this may be their first diamond key. So
Like ever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
they are exceedingly rare. I think this is actually my first one, period, because I just don't have that kind of luck so far with doing any of my like vault cards and just luck in general with looting. So this is my first chance to experience the Enter the Matrix that is actually doing a diamond key opening, which if you haven't done a diamond key opening, you should probably like redeem this key and at least see it once, because the amount of effort that went into actually doing this is incredible, all things considered. Like you don't like a golden chest. Oh, it's just a chest and it just pops open. No, that's not what happens when you open up a diamond chest.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's a lot of pomp and circumstance and a lot of guns and gear for you to get. You just got to do it. You have to do it, otherwise you won't understand. So
yeah, and it's timed too. Don't forget that. You'll see a timer on the wall, and it gives you plenty of time. But I can say this, I've farmed and farmed and farmed for a revolter, and I've gotten some pretty good revolters, but I got my best revolter out of the diamond key room. Mm-hmm. I think it was like the highest capacity I had ever gotten. So I've gotten some pretty decent loot that I, maybe have been farming for so long, and I just get the best version out of the diamond key room. So it's pretty cool. So,
Super
and you
nice.
get stuff from arms race. So say you don't like doing arms race, you can get stuff from arms race in the diamond key room. So there you go.
Now make sure you redeem this code before September 27th. Okay, so before, that's 11 days from now, past mine and Mitsu's birthday, which happens to be this Sunday.
The day after my birthday.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I
Nice.
forgot about that too. That's right.
Everybody's birthdays are in September. We all got Borderlands for our birthdays. How boss is that?
100%.
So cool. And so make sure you redeem this code before the 27th. And also, so once you redeem the code, check your in-game mail. That's how you actually get the thing. So in case you like redeem the code, nothing happens, and you're like, "Where's the thing?" It's in your in-game mail. In-game mail. Okay. So good stuff.
I got so wrapped up in trying to get the other codes on the cosmetics, I completely forgot to redeem my diamond key over there. As I said, I must have them, and I have more guns than I do the cosmetics. So when the new one comes out, I'm just like,
it's okay. We get diamond keys all the time, Vander. We get them at the same time.
oh, no joke. Dude, Tessa, check this out. We were hanging out the other day. She was live, and I was just popping in, and I hung out with her I was off stream. But we were both farming side by side, and literally, I kid you not, I went live in Discord so I could show her there. She was live on there, and I said, "Oh, hey, I just opened up a chest. I got a diamond key." Not 2 seconds later, she's like, "Oh, hey, I got a chest. Oh, hey, I got a diamond key too."
You guys are just very, very much in sync. That's how it
Here's
works.
the kicker. That's not the only time that's happened between the two.
Yeah, it's happened multiple times with us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super, super, super nice. Weird, wonderful, magical coincidences happening in the Borderlands and Wonderlands universes. I'm not surprised. It's a magical universe.
It's a magical place.
Yeah. Especially
like
Wonderlands.
I was like, Tahiti. That's cute, Mitsu. Thank you. Thank you for
Very, very deep cut.
yes.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Make sure that if you are going after that diamond key, that you redeem it by September 27th or the 30th. I'm not entirely sure. There's a little conflicting information out there between the blog post and the Twitter, but I'm just saying right now, if you are listening to this now or in the near future, just redeem the damn thing. Get it right now. Quick, go.
Yup.
So I'm sorry, Tess, you're going to say something. You were ready.
Well, so we also have a really cool thing coming for you guys regarding Wonderlands, the Knights of Butt Stallion. Now, what this actually means is you can get some sweet loot for Wonderlands while supporting your favorite content creators. Okay, so if you pre-order a digital copy of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the Chaotic Great Edition, okay, and you use one of our codes, one of the team creator team members' unique affiliate links to get the Knights of Butt Stallion pack, which features, I'm sorry, there's a monster cat behind me. It does not feature a monster cat. That you can only find on my stream occasionally, or on the Bordercast. But anyway, so a swath of the spiffy cosmetic items. Okay, so when you pre-order or purchase the game on Epic via the 2K store using a creator's affiliate link, the creator will receive compensation from 2K, and you'll get a sharp new Tina-approved look. The Knights of Butt Stallion pack includes, I'm going to try to say this, the Scrumdiddlyumptious armor preset and the Tina Triumph banner set for a grand total of 7 items. Here's the breakdown. You get some Scrumdiddlyumptious armor preset, that's 4 items, and Tina Triumph banner set, which is 3 items. Now, the streamers that are on the team currently are Killer6, Jolts Dude, Damn It to Hell, Mystique Siren, TVJ Quag, Vanderforge, Mitsu Show, myself, of course, Mental Mars, Triple G, Lazy Data, Epic NNG, Filthy Eagle, Juraptor, Subpar Lover, Ziggy D, Series of Blurs, Moxie, and Tweety Expert. Okay, I'm going to put the code for the Diamond Key into the chat one more time. And if you would like it, again, it's on the Borderlands Twitter. So just check the Borderlands Twitter.
So to be clear exactly what this program is. So when we did the Borderlands team several years ago, there was 12 of us. It was a great time. We had a wonderful experience. A whole bunch of people were on that team. This is kind of like a natural expansion of that going into Wonderlands. This team is the next evolutionary step of everything going on with Borderlands into Wonderlands. And to kind of be, say thank you to some of the content creators on this team, they've developed a very special pack that you can use and get only through pre-ordering through the codes that, or the links that I should say, that those content creators that Tess just listed will have. So that includes, of course, our guests on the show today, Mystique Siren and Vanderforge, myself, Tessica, and tons of other content creators, some of your favorite content creators that are currently out there right now. To be included in that list is super cool. So if you're somebody like Vander, who is, I must have all of the cosmetics forever and ever, because we don't actually know in game what these things will do, and knowing Gearbox and 2K, they'll probably do something really cool to give you a leg up until maybe like level 10 or 20 in the game. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. That's just my assumption. I could be completely wrong. They could be super just normal cosmetic. But there's nothing that's really cosmetic besides stuff that you can just get in like a new game. But you might. I would just say pre-order, support your favorite content creators. It's there. It's available for you to have. And there's only one way to get it. So if you're a collector, this is the way to do it.
And you know it's going to be sparkly.
Yes.
What's that? Oh, yeah. Very sparkly.
So sparkly.
It's going to be scrumdiddlyumptious.
Yes. It's going to be super sparkly because it's Butt Stallion.
Yes.
So I'm excited about that. I want to be a diamond.
Yes. And speaking of pre-orders, Tiny Tina's Treasure Trove. Man, I love alliteration. Who does these things? Tiny Tina's Treasure Trove, which will impress all of your friends, make your enemies jelly, and guaranteed not to be a murderous mimic, is being released as well. The game itself is not included in it, but it does include some really, really cool stuff, including Butt Stallion's Castle Papercraft booklet, which is awesome.
I'm putting it up on screen right now, so people can
please
see.
do. They need to see this because it's wild. There's like a whole castle that you can build.
Yeah,
so cool.
Yeah,
I'm bad at building things, but I want it.
I
really
I hope
cool.
they'll have instructions.
Yeah, there's some enamel pins. I just want the plush.
Same. I'm like, give me that
I want the plush.
It needs to go with my Felicia Sexo pants on my chair.
Oh, the Butt Stallion plush?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
there's
like
also
Butt Stallion's just puking off my chair. Like
it looks like there's a standalone Bunkers and Badasses module. So I'm assuming
Yes.
that connects back to the actual physical Bunkers and Badasses game, which is take on D&D, but Tiny Tina style. Which is so cool. Super, super, super cool that they're doing that. I'm so excited.
See, I can't get that treasure trove thing because my beloved's just going to steal the damn plush from me and put it on her desk.
Well, that's why you get two.
Yeah.
Just get
That's
two.
correct. The enamel pins look really cool. I love the cloth map. It's very reminiscent of my old days playing EverQuest, where one of the special editions used to have that, which this is a great like standalone for people who are really avid fans of the Borderlands series. And it even has tarot cards too, which it's not my thing, but I know there are people out there who love it. I actually have a friend who's really big into it, so I'm like, oh, well, I could just give them to her because she would definitely love that.
I would love to try the tarot cards. Like that seems like fun. Like I would love to learn how to do that. It seems interesting.
Yeah.
And they look beautiful. They look so beautiful.
The art is amazing. Oh my God. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. It definitely follows along the lines, and this was unexpected completely. And you don't need it, but if you like all things Butt Stallion, all things Wonderlands, if you like all things B&B Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, then it is all for, oh my goodness. It's just, oh my God. I just saw this from Ariana. She just tweeted a picture. Happy anniversary, suckers, from mine to yours, hashtag 2022. And it's a picture of her sitting next to
I need to see this.
Oh yeah, you need to. She's sitting next to Kate, to Kevin, and behind her is Florian, giant of a man. And then Eli is next to him, and Jamie Lee Curtis is there. Oh my God.
Oh, that's amazing.
They are a family. There wasn't a lot of time for movie news, but I had to comment on at least that because it just hit the pipeline.
That's so cool.
And that ties into Tiny Tina's Wonderlands because she's our live action Tiny Tina. So that happened.
That is awesome.
That just made awesome. me like my cheeks are gonna turn red because I'm gonna start blushing again.
Yeah.
I really
I'm seeing if I can pull it up. I'm just gonna put the link to the tweet in the chat. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Here you guys go. If you're curious to check it out, also you should go and follow Ariana because she's amazing.
Oh, and she also, another thing she just tweeted is that apparently Krieg, Florian Montagneux, teases a violent and vicious Krieg and says fans will be happy.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
She just tweeted that too. So
there's a whole little article on comicbookmovie.com about it, actually, that we were going to talk about a little bit later. There's a crazy cool image of Krieg being a badass, and he just talks about how incredible it is to be able to transform into Krieg, and how excited he is about this role, and he's excited for us to see it. We're excited to see it. It's going to be very cool.
Oh yeah. It's we live in a very, very exciting time where we have all of these different facets of like movies and games and comics, because I think there was a Borderlands comic at one point too. Apparently it was really good.
Yeah.
So you've got all of these different mediums to tell stories about these franchises that we love, specifically, of course, in this case, Borderlands. And now seeing like the actors getting so involved and so, engrossed in this series just alongside of us, just like jumping in and just like coming to be a part of this whole big collective of fandom and love. It's just so much. It's so nice. It's so nice to say. It's a little overwhelming, honestly, when I think back to it and where this game and this series was 8 years ago, 9 years ago, when everything just kind of started getting going with Borderlands 2. And I know Borderlands obviously before that, but 2 was really the big jumping off point, I think, for how everything is kind of molded to contemporary Borderlands in many ways.
I think it's amazing. I think the fact that the franchise has come so far, it birthed another franchise, hopefully, is incredible. I just feel like it's such an incredible community. I was lucky enough to join it like 7.5 years ago when I first started streaming, and people in this community, every single person that I've ever met that loves Borderlands has been so kind and welcoming and fun, from the developers, of course, but also like all of the community members that helped me when I was first getting into it. And, all of the streamers and just the entire community on Discord, on Reddit, and all these locations. It's really cool. And yeah, like it's really, really amazing to have seen it come so far and see it go mainstream with the movie. And it's just really neat. It's really neat. And everybody loves it because it has so much heart and so much adventure and so much, like, there's so much passion in this game. You can't help but feel that. And that just talks to people, and people love it because of it.
Yeah. One of the coolest midnight releases I had ever been to, if I'm being completely honest. And I went to a lot of them because I was that dude that, worked a full-time job and had my group of friends. And, if there was a game title that was coming out, if the game shop around us did a midnight release, we were there. That was also the biggest highly attendance it was, again, Borderlands 2. When the big weapons chest edition came out, it was memorable. It was the biggest in attendance, and the conversation there was just, it was it was almost rewarding, just because, like, you know, everybody was just like, you know, nobody was afraid to talk to each other, and we all just sat there and chilled out. And, like, you know, I think they ended up having to stall because they were still trying to get stuff prepped, and the whole crowd's just like, we're good, we got each other, man. You just take all the time you need to.
Yeah.
So cool.
I think I still worked in video game retail, and I actually didn't work that midnight launch or that early release is what they were doing at that point. And because I actually had asked for that off, and my DM was totally obliged, and he was just like, yeah, he's like, you've got so many pre-orders in the district, he's like, you get to have it off. So but I actually still went to my store, and I took my claptrap with me, my remote control claptrap from the Hanson collection. And I actually had to, I had the app downloaded. So it's an actual remote control claptrap that rolls around on one wheel. And I just like went around the store and just like followed people around and like yelled at them via claptrap. So, cause you could actually like talk into the phone and it would talk through the claptrap. And then you could also have claptrap saying like his like certain lines and stuff. So like, that was probably one of my favorite, like moments in like, just when the games have been releasing and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. So, and I didn't get paid for it. I was just like, yeah, I'm just going to roll around with claptrap all night. So it was pretty fun.
I'm so envious you have like a robo claptrap. I really should have gotten in on that one. Oh boy.
Yeah. It was hardcore like that. And then there's the gentleman edition of that as well. There's two different editions of that. Oh. And you can get just the normal claptrap, or you can get the handsome claptrap, and he's wearing a top hat and it's super cute.
Oh my God. That's so adorable.
Yep.
Speaking of cool things you can get, some of us creators recently got this cool little box. I think Mitsu's going to show it to you, maybe, possibly. Yeah. Okay.
There it is.
Oh, it's so neat. It's super, super neat. So the green screen is kind of, they both have it. Perfect.
I have.
Mine is actually right there. I can't.
Is green screen interfering with it a little bit, making it reflect green?
That's okay.
That's
unfortunate. It's really golden.
Happens.
If you check out Mitsu's Twitter or my Twitter, you can actually see some really great pictures of it. I'm sure, you know, it's on everybody's Twitter.
Yeah.
But the really cool thing about this is the top little cover opens up and there's a screen there, and 2K Gearbox can like send us things, and they've sent us a cool Tiny Tina's image, and then basically the little knight guy with the horns, he spins. I don't know how this happens. It's magic. It's literally a Dragon Loot box. So the little dragon guy spins, the Dragon Lord spins, and that's how you know you have a message, and you lift up the little cover, and then there's a message. It's so cool. I actually do have a video. Unfortunately, I was not able to get it from my phone into the computer before the show, but I will show it to you on Twitter after, I promise. It's really, really, really neat to see that, and I'm just excited for whatever is released next.
Man, yeah.
It's sorcery. It's really neat.
It's gonna be great. And it did, because I did look up the people who make the box, and you can get like moving pictures, it seems like. So it looks like it is possible for us to get like actual videos on it, maybe. So I'm very excited. They could just send us like random messages. Honestly, if I woke up to a message from 2K Gearbox like every morning that was just like, "What up, sucker?" and I would be totally fine with that. Like it could be calling me names. I wouldn't care. Like, just send me a message.
She went legit Inspector Gadget on this box thing. By the way, I saw a message in chat there. Damn it, the hell is still waiting on his. He's not the only one. Me and Killer Sticks are still waiting on ours to show up too. So, but they're coming.
They're coming. They're on their way.
No, she freaked out. I get this text message. She's just like, "Oh my gosh, something's coming to me." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Where do you think it's from?" "I don't know, but it's obviously from the homeland." "What do you think it's going to be?" "Emily, I don't know." "Oh my gosh, it's coming from this company." "Emily, will you please rise?"
I did. I went and stepped her.
At the door.
Just chill.
No, I was like, they do these things and this thing, and this is cool. I was like, maybe it's this.
I'm like, "That's great, Mystique. I don't care, but that's great. Wonderful."
It's so cool though. I wasn't able to get it until this morning, and I kept like checking the thing, and then I actually called my UPS store location and was like, "Do you have it yet?" And they're like, "We don't know what you're talking about." And I'm like, "No." So this morning I finally got it. I brought it back, I unboxed it, and then got it working and everything. So hopefully it's safe from the Munchkin monster cat. That's the only risk. It's very cable managed and kind of up high in a place she doesn't go. So hopefully.
I literally have cords around my house that I've set up so that I can just unplug it and then take it with me. So legit, I have it beside my bedside table. In case
so
I
you
wake
don't
up
miss
in the
a
middle of the
message.
night, I see it spinning and I just wake up and like Jesse's beside me going, what the heck are you doing? I'm like, there's a message.
As far as I know, to answer a question in chat, only Next Makers are getting these. I don't know if it'll be something that people can buy. You can get one not related to Borderlands from the company that makes these things, but it's totally not related to Borderlands. So or Wonderlands, I'm sorry. So if you want Wonderlands version, I don't know if that's going to be a thing. I'm sorry, but we'll tell you about them. We'll share them with you guys. Like them sending this cool stuff to us means that we get to share it with you guys. So we will, at the very least, always tell you if cool stuff shows up. You'll be able to see it on stream.
Of course.
yeah, and share the hype. So that's the idea, at least.
Yes. So next up in our news segment, Maurice's vending machine has moved once more. Of course, where is Maurice.com if you need to know more? It is, in fact, in Lectra City, Promethea, this week. And, of course, selling the Moonfire, should you need one of those. And the Moonfire actually has had a storied history of being a much better gun than it was on release. I think it got buffed maybe 7-8 months ago, and it's worth looking into now. Some specialized builds I've seen about it are really, really cool. The ASMD and the Barrage. Not much to say about either of those. The Barrage is okay. ASMD, hit or miss. Very, very much hit or miss. But the Moonfire, if you don't have one yet, I would recommend, that you go out, get one, and definitely make that happen.
That's some safe trips to the takedown on Model 1 right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Very
I mean,
cool.
then you take it and you do it with Molly 1 takedown, right? That's,
Right. No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Because why not?
Yes,
With his own weapon.
make sure you do that. This next part I'm very excited for. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Typhon DeLeon, Gearbox developer and Typhon voice actor. No, I didn't actually voice him. Michael Cosner will be at Dallas Fan Expo today and tomorrow, should you be in the Dallas area and attending Dallas Fan Expo, cosplaying as himself, the first Vault Hunter ever. This one time, I got really bored, so I figured I'd probably go all the way down to this place called the Dallas Fan Expo. Turns out there are tons of people out there, all these Vault Hunters, trying to do what I was doing, cosplaying, meeting up, drinking beers. Maybe we're even looking for some pies, some poop pies. That was what I did when I was starting, right? I don't know. I didn't have anything prepared for that, but I guess that's good enough. Well, that's what he used to do. He used to farm poop, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
Turd farmer.
It's true.
He was a
Turd
turd
farmer.
farmer.
Here's the
Yeah.
turd farmer.
Turd. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
So it's very exciting, and the reason I actually bring this up in our news segment is because he said in his tweet that he's dusting off the old vocal cords and getting back in the booth to do a little bit more Typhon DeLeon. Now, one logical leap here. Why is he in the booth doing more Typhon DeLeon lines?
Oh my
Why?
God.
Is it for something for Borderlands 3? Is it for doing something for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands? Why? What is it here?
Maybe
do?
that long-awaited other spin-off game that was Mitsu's brainchild could be a thing. That would be so cool, right? Right?
Yes.
The
Who knows?
platformer. Yeah.
Yeah, the platformer with the
Oh my
whip.
god.
That'd be great.
I've been pushing for it.
It'd be so good. It would be amazing. But who knows? Who knows? That would be really, really cool, though. At the very least, it'll be really amazing to hear more from Typhon.
I did notice in the trailer, if you look behind Tina, there is a Typhon DeLeon poster behind her.
Oh.
You guys not notice that? Yeah.
Well-
we're gonna get to the gameplay in just a little bit because
Sorry.
I know everybody's asking
Like-
about it. So you gotta point out after we watch through it, point out where that is.
Yes.
We'll have a conversation.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Are we ready for this trailer? Oh, nice.
Just
we doing it
about.
now?
There's one last thing, and it's just me. I wrote an article about Next Makers that some of you might have read and some of you might not have read. And if you are interested in reading it and learning more about what the Next Makers program is and how can it help you and how you can help it, by all means, read it. I hope that you will enjoy listening to my tale of my journey as a content creator right up to where we're at now, including producing, hosting, directing the show, and how much I love doing it and how much Next Makers, even before it was called Next Makers, made a profound impact on my life and the lives of everybody here in this this channel today.
Yep. I put the link in chat. You guys should definitely check it out. Mitsu's awesome brain came up with some really cool stuff, so you should definitely read it. And it'll also be in the podcast description section. So if you're listening, you should check that out.
Yes. All right. I think they've been screaming for it, especially over in YouTube. Yes, I see you guys this whole time. You wanted gameplay. Tess, by all means, please give them the gameplay.
All right, here goes.
Darkness washes over the land. Dun dun dun. The Dragon Lord has returned!
Fools! Your party of heroes can't stop me!
Who's ready to rickety roleplay? Spoiler? It's you, baby. Some of you may be asking, Tina, why are there guns in a fantasy world? And I am just so glad you asked because shut up your face and get shooting!
You ready, newbie?
Time for character sheets, baby!
Oh my god, that was so cool. You guys, the sparkly butt stallion though. It's so good. It's super, super, super good.
Yeah, so when it's a shot of Tina, it's off of her left shoulder. The Type of DeLeon poster's on the wall.
Oh, you know what? I was too busy looking at the other side. That's literally why. I like how the chats are like, this is kind of weird without the baby mill. Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
it's very unfortunate that we have to do it that way, but of course the crazy algorithms from the matrix that is YouTube and Twitch and all those things will come and get us and then blow us up for copyright rules. And we're scared of that because we don't want to get anybody DMCA'd. So we had to do it without it, but as much as we love baby metal here, it's just not something feasible, which kind of sucks.
You can enjoy it when you play the video game, hopefully.
Oh man, can you imagine if they do the opening trailer for, like, because they always do an opening movie, right? And it's usually
don't do that to me. Don't do the cage the elephant thing again. No, don't promise me that baby metal is gonna be like.
I'm not promising you anything.
We
I'm
don't
only
know.
saying that it'd be a nice idea.
Yeah,
don't do that to me, dude. Because if it doesn't happen, I'm gonna hit you.
Okay. Maybe I like that. You don't know.
He'll threaten me with a good time.
Thank you,
man.
There you go again.
That trailer though was so cool.
You're a noodle.
Wow. So yes, indeed, it was a very good trailer. We are very happy to be able to finally have some gameplay out there. There's obviously a lot more. I can tell you right now, the YouTube chat is very angry because they want to see more. And all things considered, I want to see more too. And I'm kind of hopeful that in the future we'll be able to actually do what we did for DLC 2. on this channel, which is we brought the worldwide gameplay reveal of that to this show. So if you're unhappy, I'm going to turn around on you guys. If you're unhappy that unfortunately there wasn't any new gameplay, let them know that you would like to see that gameplay right here on the Bordercast, and maybe you'll get your wish, because there's power in numbers. And if you guys don't tell them that's what you want, then nobody knows it's what you want. But if you tell them it's what you want, then you just might get it. I'm just saying. Ah, yes, Matt Cox, speaking of DLCs, formerly the director of Bounty of Blood DLC 3, who we have had on this program more than once, is also now the director of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. He did such a good job. They gave him a whole dang game to do his directing vision. And he recently wrote a blog all about it in PlayStation. So, breaking down that trailer a little bit more, because apparently we need to, because I missed that Typhon DeLeon poster, and that one's on me. He goes to say that they have officially revealed the first gameplay look at Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and set pre-orders live. So pre-orders are in fact up. And once again, we stress, please, if you want all of the goodies, use your favorite content creators link to be able to pre-order. And if not, I mean, it's your choice, but you're missing out on cool stuff. Significant milestone for their team, and they are just scratching the surface. They are developing a world that exists inside the chaotic mind of somebody like Tiny Tina, which gives them a license to build out wild ideas and explore crazy ways of bending the rules of traditional fantasy while mixing it with the classic. And what results is an adventure full of whimsy, wonder, and high-powered weapons. And they have so much more to show before the game launches on March 25th, 2022. Basically, the footage is packed with shots to give pause and a second look, including some epic settings that you'll get to play in, from majestic towns to mushroom forests, forbidding fortresses, words, alliterations, and more. The world is wild and slightly warped take on high fantasy, so they were able to completely let their imaginations run wild. You'll also catch glimpses of the overworld, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, and I'm very excited for, which was about halfway through the trailer. And that essentially is the interactive tabletop zone, where players can explore as they discover dynamic encounters and traverse between all the key locations. Old school JRPG fans, you are officially seen. During your epic quest to defeat the Dragon Lord, you will encounter a wide variety of monsters, from sentient, smack-talking skeletons to land-roaming sharks to colossal bosses. What we've been looking for the whole time. The trailer shows off an incredible arsenal that you will have at your disposal, with devastating spells, powerful guns, melee weapons.
Melee! Oh my god.
There it is. There it is. And unique skills for frenetic first-person battles. We want you to explore and try all the different ways possible for you to be able to utilize your firepower. And in that spirit, today's trailer, or that trailer back on Monday, teases a significant pillar. Actually, it was last Thursday. Yeah, it was last Thursday. A significant pillar of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands experience, creating your own hero. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too. But for now, that blog post goes on to say that they will have much more to share about this in the future soon. But we have built in a multi-class system that lets you mix and match six unique character skill trees, all with their own awesome abilities. You'll be able to customize how your players look and sound. And you can do this solo or party with up to 3 friends for a full 4-player co-op experience. And they are excited for you to find your unique play style, discovering how you wish to experience the game. Tiny Tina's Wonderland releases, once again, March 25th, 2022, and they cannot wait to share more details with you in the months ahead. And honestly, neither can we.
I wish it was here already, but
We do.
we just have to wait. We just have to be patient. It's going to be so awesome. Seriously.
The first and most important highlight that we were taking away from here is guns, spells, melee weapons, and unique skills. Vander, you lost your mind. Melee weapons. Talk to me.
Whirlwind! It happened!
Spin to win.
The fact that you saw what appears to be an orc with a two-handed great axe doing a whirlwind on the battlefield, and then, of course, me being the North Scandinavian inspired caster, sees the little tidbit that some people noticed in the first person view. Dude with the hammer, the big lightning hammer, throws said hammer at dude, then calls the hammer back to him.
Yeah. With a shotgun in the other hand. mind you.
Yeah, so
So-
dual wield, it's not clear whether or not you can dual wield melee or how that's going to work exactly, but in theory, it seems like it's possible for you to have melee and magic maybe, or like
Yep.
dual wield multiple melee weapons. That would be so incredible. Like imagine two like badass blades and just yes, please give also
Mhm.
magic in Wonderlands. How incredible will that be? So
Some of
cool.
those pause scenes where you see them casting the spells, and the one in particular where the portals opened up and like the ice rain comes down on top of the enemies. Dude.
Yeah.
And like people are upset right now. We can obviously see that you're upset that you want to see more gameplay. You think we don't?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do too, you guys.
More right now after seeing that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really not simple.
Yeah.
we're so excited to show you what we have, of course, but we would love to show you more. Just, hopefully there'll be more for us to show you guys soon. Please be patient. The game is still percolating. Things are still in progress. But yeah, like Mitzi said, we've done gameplay previews before. This was a trailer, which is what we tweeted about, or what was tweeted about. But hopefully maybe we'll get to do some fresh gameplay for you guys at some point like we did before. That would be amazing.
Indeed. The next thing to really highlight with what this interview said is Matt mentioned that you will also be able to create your own hero. So for the first time in Borderlands ever, you won't be playing the story of a set Vault Hunter that already has an established backstory, whatever you want to do. This is the MMO experience without being an MMO. Or I guess it's just really an RPG experience. It's just an RPG experience. I'm just used to playing MMOs. Where you can create your character, make it look however you want, make it sound however you want. We're going to talk about that a little bit more because Mental Mars really dove his head into trying finding out as much information about that. We'll talk about it a little bit. But the character customization options that he managed to dig up so far are going to blow your mind. Tess, how long do you think you're going to take to actually make your character before you get started playing?
So
Same.
I think the longest on stream that it's ever taken me was just over 2 hours, and that was in an MMO that had very extensive character creation. And in fact, I never actually played the MMO. They released just the character creator separately before the launch of the actual game, which, by the way, I'm sure this is like way too much work and they would never do this randomly. But if they wanted to release just the character creator, I would play that on stream for hours and hours. Just
100%.
saying. But yeah, there was another game where that was a thing. They released like just the character creator, and I spent hours playing with that. And I never actually played the actual game, which is terrible. But obviously this game I would play a lot and will play a lot. And definitely will be taking some time to make my character. The cool thing about this, skipping a little bit ahead to what Mental Mars talks about, the look of your character is going to be completely separate to the functionality of your character, right? And like the skills and the items and all that stuff. So you can customize your character's style, physical appearance, voice, personality, and more. You'll be able to do all of that, and it'll have no effect on their abilities. Aesthetic and character class are two separate things in this game, which is so awesome. It's really, really nice. I think that's huge, honestly, because like a lot of the time, I feel like in a lot of games, you are kind of stuck with a look or feel that has to, if you want to play a certain way, if you want to have like a gameplay feel of a certain play style, then you're stuck with a certain look, right? No longer. This is a true RPG, like Dungeons and Dragons, or like any RPG that we've played, in the past, where you can really make your character your own. It's an avatar of you. Whatever you can dream up, whatever you can come up with, that's what you can make, and it's really incredible.
Lethal is asking in the chat there, will I be making Vanderforge as mine? No, I'm so like, as we all know, I'm a thematic build maker. I'm bringing back a theme of an old D&D character I played in my high school days. It was a half orc. It was a half orc barbarian. His name was Throk, Throk, and he spoke in grunt. He just like, whenever you talked to him, he went, and so like just the possibilities of like, and I illustrate that, or I tell that story as to show you where my mind is going when I'm hearing the things that you're saying, Tess, that we've been hearing about what's unfolding in this game. Like it's taking me back to the days of sitting around tables with pencil, paper, and dice and rolling the dice for your adventure and just awesome around the table role play experience, dude. And like that's why I'm so excited to get the collector's edition for Bunkers and Badasses, which, by the way, Killer 6 did reconfirm that he's going to be one of my players on my live cast episode. So
That's so
Nice.
cool.
I'm be ready, Killer 6, because I'm ready for you, baby.
Sounds like you get along really well with Brick, by the way.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It was also an experience to just do different emotion grunts versus like trying to come up with stuff on the fly because my improv is poo-poo. But but getting back to the point though, that's like when you're sitting here saying these things and re-saying these things, it takes me down this journey that I have not been on in a long time of the realm of D&D, with the stats, character creation in its base format. It's really got the D&D vibes to me, and that's why I'm just like I'm very over the top. I'm ready to experiment these mechanics. I'm ready for the first 12-hour stream that's going to be sent making one character for the entire 12 hours as we discover every single little impact or little
world record
of character creation. I ain't going for no world record. I get behind this stuff. It's my jam.
I think this is huge because like Tess was saying, there's a lot of games where, there's not a whole lot of creation. We just have to pick a character and then we play. I mean, Borderlands 3 is kind of like that. We pick a siren, we pick and we play as that character. We don't really get to customize it other than our skill trees. And even then with 4 skill trees, a lot of people tend to do the same thing. So with my main siren build, a lot of people come in and it's a build that I made personally. And a lot of people come in and go, oh, that's kind of similar to my build. That's kind of similar to And I'm really excited for Wonderlands in the sense that I don't think many people are going to have the same build. It's huge because we've got 6 skill trees or like classes. Sorry. We got 6 classes. So, and then we later on down the road get to pick a second class to be multi-class. And then we also have our hero points the amount of customization in this is huge. And I don't think when the game first comes out, no one will have the same character. And that's huge in a Borderlands game.
Yeah, it's going to be so different.
First.
Like the story of your character is really your own creation. It's all about what you want. And it could be anything. You can reinvent yourself as a fantastical creature of another race, of another anything. Literally, you could be anything you want to be in Borderlands. Anything that exists within Tiny Tina's amazing, wonderful mind.
Which can be anything.
Cool. Yeah, it literally could be anything.
Yeah.
So cool. The hero points are very it's kind of like a very classic Dungeons and Dragons-esque thing where hero points can be spent on like attributes that relate to things like melee spells or skill cooldowns. There's going to be a character sheet, just like in D&D if you're used to that. And the 6 attributes, according to Mental Mars, are strength, intelligence, wisdom, constitution, and attunement, which is interesting.
Where's charisma? Where is it? Charisma should be on that 6 stat.
That could be attunement, or that could be intelligence, or that could be wisdom. They all kind of fall into that line, maybe, kind of, sort of. I don't know.
I don't know if a lot of people missed this in that Matt Cox and Caleb Belmore interview, but there's a 7th one that doesn't actually, you don't spend hero points on. And that is luck. And you have to do in-game activities to increase that.
Oh boy. All right. Yes. So I'm glad that you brought this up because let's talk about that interview. Because like I said 10 minutes ago, there's a lot more information that was to come. And literally that day after he posted that blog post, Matt Cox had an interview that he did with our friends over at GameSpot and revealed more information because I guess we're just going to throw everything out there right now. And as you know, inspired by Dungeons and Dragons influenced Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep DLC for Borderlands 2, Tiny Tina's Wonderland leans even further into that structure of a tabletop role-playing game when it comes to the gameplay loop and overall structure designed. As examples, Wonderlands incorporates a more robust character creator, like we were just talking about, and the option to multi-class, also like we're talking about right now. The looter shooter also pulls many mechanics and features from D&D that fans of that series will definitely recognize. The character creator represents one of the biggest departures from structure of Borderlands games because Wonderlands doesn't feature established characters. Instead, you get to customize your own hero, which I shouldn't do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to tie it all around, and I'm just going to keep reading this article, but everybody's going to go, you bastard. Ready? This feels like a test to set up for Borderlands 4 in a way. Because, and I'm going to use lore here, because that's what we do. There's supposed to be a coming Vault War, and they're going to need everybody on board, which means that if you're going to do that, you can't just have 4 people fight a war. It doesn't work that way. You need lots of Vault Hunters, which means they need to come from all different backgrounds, united for a common purpose. So to me, this feels like we're getting the setup for what 4 might entail. And again, that's the most, because I see Tess, she's giving me that eye.
Yeah,
like,
this is
you're
pure
gonna get us in trouble.
speculation, friends.
Holy speculation.
Just gonna put that out there,
Wild
okay?
speculation.
We have no idea.
Just
We're just
resurrected
guessing.
Maya is what you just did.
This
Yes,
is our
it is.
very hopeful, these are our very hopeful thoughts of please can we has Gearbox kind of thing. Honestly, that would be incredible. That would be absolutely incredible. I think being able to create your own character in Borderlands and have all-out battles with lots of Vault Hunters, all of that would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. So that's kind of the dream.
Do you think that even though, because this is said to be right after Bunkers and Badasses DLC, this is 13-year-old Tiny Tina and not 20-year-old Tiny Tina. So it is before Borderlands 3, technically.
Yeah.
Is it?
So
Yes.
technically, yes.
Really?
But well,
Yes.
the thing is though, so Wonderlands is not within the Borderlands franchise, right? It's a spin-off, hopefully franchise of its own, right?
Yeah.
So it's not I totally agree with Mitsu in the sense that it could be them trying new things, testing new mechanics, because every new iteration of a game, right, they're going to be doing new things. They're going to be trying new things like they did with Arms Race and Borderlands 3 as just an example, right? They're trying new things and seeing how they work, getting community feedback, adjusting things and improving things from there, and then taking that knowledge and hopefully moving it into the next iteration of the game, right? So absolutely, they can take a lot of things from Wonderlands and whatever happens in terms of community feedback and what people love and what people want to adjust. They can absolutely take that, what the responses are and how things work and the things they learn from making these different systems, and bring them into the next Borderlands game, if that's a thing. Hopefully, please.
No, I hope they do for
yeah.
sure. Like with any new mechanics but like with like the whole like lore, like bringing the lore
I don't
into
think
it,
they're going to be
know.
related.
Yeah.
Well, not really. I think
Yeah.
maybe again, pure speculation. Maybe there'll be some like kind of Easter eggs and things like little bits of things that tie in. But all of this is in Tina's mind, right?
Right,
It's in her
yeah.
head. And so it could be anything. The cool thing about this is they have the freedom to basically go crazy. They can bring back Maya if they want, because they're not actually bringing her back. She's not actually gone yet.
Right.
And she can exist indefinitely within Tina's mind, just as like she does in Krieg's, right? They can do all kinds of crazy things. And the story that happens in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is its own separate thing. And it's, I hope personally, the start of a whole new series of adventures that have to do with Tiny Tina and her friends and like the characters that we meet in Wonderlands. So I don't think that they're going to be story-wise as connected as, like Borderlands 3 is to Borderlands 2. but the mechanics and the systems underlying the game, those I think will carry over. Again, all of this is pure speculation.
Yeah.
But this is what we hope.
Like, I think it would be cool if they did like within the DLCs, because we know there's going to be a season pass because that's included in the Chaotic Great Edition, right? How cool would it be if they obviously did like new stories in each DLC, but then brought in like some of these new characters from Borderlands 3. So introduce, Lorelei, bring Lorelei and have her be playing Bunkers and Badasses with us. And, just introducing all these different characters that we love in Borderlands 3, bring them into the DLCs of Tiny Tina. Like, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I super agree. Like, there's so much potential. There's so much potential to go crazy. Like they did with the Krieg DLC. I mean, literally they could do anything because it's in his mind. This is the same idea. They can do anything. And that's a wonderful level of freedom. And the fact that they don't have to be connected, but they can be connected, like everybody will love it, I'm sure. If, it's almost kind of like nostalgia, but not quite nostalgia. When we see characters that we love in a new game, it just makes us feel good. It's like a little bit of home, right? Borderlands is home. So seeing Borderlands things in Wonderlands obviously is going to be amazing. And then that's going to be our home for a while. And we're going to love it. We're going to keep playing it long term. And then maybe Borderlands 4 will come out and maybe some things will carry over. That would be awesome. But I definitely am looking forward to these new systems, the new overworld, the new character creation, and all of that and how that works. I hope continues into the future. That would be amazing.
Same.
So let's talk about that a little bit more. In the interview, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands senior producer Kayla Belmore told GameSpot that your voice, your appearance, all of that is independent. You get to choose your own voice and other stuff that they can't quite dive into yet, but it goes even into your character's personality. It's not just aesthetics, and it's all independent. So you could look like and sound like however you want within those sets of choices. You are not tied in any way to any one particular thing. And not even every feature is humanoid. You can have shark fins on your head, or you could even look like an orc, which the shark fin on the head thing, I might actually explore that.
Oh, yes.
Creative director Matt.
What's that? Ears. I want bunny ears.
I'm sure you can do that.
I want bunny ears.
Sure
Speak it into the universe and let it happen.
Yeah.
Hey, Borderlands, I want bunny ears.
I mean, it makes sense. It's Tiny Tina, right? Come on.
It does.
Speak it into the universe and let it happen. Okay. Me too. You may have started a boss fight with your speculation that you just literally stated on this episode right now.
Sure, happens a lot.
Let me face tank a little of the damage for you. Let me join you in on that speculation and say one thing that I've been thinking in the back of my head ever since I started seeing stuff about this. And no, it's not going to go back like the last episode did, okay? Let me see if I can mitigate some of the damage for you. Why does that look like and sound like Matthew Mercer in the end of that trailer?
Who?
He hasn't been announced for the game yet. You're digging real deep if that's going to happen.
Why I said I'm going to face tank some of the damage. Why does that look like Matthew Mercer sitting around that table in the back? There's your speculation.
Like the behind Tiny Tina?
There's your speculation. There's getting people upset, okay? Let me face tank some of that damage for you. Why does that look like Matthew Mercer at that table in the back?
I'm going to point this out. I've noticed, and this is not a knock on anybody who's worked on previous voice acting roles for anything involving Borderlands in previous games, but you have Andy Samberg, you have Wanda Sykes, you have Will Arnett. These are some real like heavy hitter names in several different circles across film and television and all those mediums, and they're coming and they're working on this game now.
Mm-hmm.
Matty Mercer, I mean, that's a slam dunk of a name that you're going to throw in the ring here.
Oh yeah, I know, but I've been saying it on Twitter too. And to answer questions that I'm seeing, no, he's not confirmed at all. No, he's not remotely. There's been nothing said about that whatsoever. Not a rootin' tootin' thing. But I saw a glimpse of that image when we first started seeing stuff about Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and I looked at that character model, and that thought has been sitting in the back of my mind ever since. And then I saw that trailer, and I went,
I'll put it this way. It might look like him, but that might be Andy Samberg's character, and they might just sound so similar.
And it also might just be getting my hopes up because I'm one of the biggest Mercer fanboys in the world. I'm willing to fully admit that too, but it looks like Mercer's hairstyle, dude.
That's fair. You're not going to get an argument from me about that one.
Yeah, anything is possible. Anything is possible in the mind of Tiny Tina, as we've seen. So I wouldn't rule anything out.
To continue on what they're talking about with creation here, there's two different aspects of character creation. There's one that is the aesthetic piece where you can choose what you look like, and then there's the actual character classes themselves. Each character class will have abilities that fans are accustomed to seeing, and then deeper in the game, you will have the option to multi-class, Lilu Dallas multi-class. So the ability to multi-class will supposedly allow for players to put together some bizarre but powerful combinations. When asked how that would work, using the hypothetical of a player combining Borderlands 2's Gunzerker with maybe Borderlands 3's Siren, for example, Belmore confirmed that the interviewer was in fact on the right track. And while Belmore did not yet want to confirm that either class or anything like them would be available in Wonderlands, but in terms of what players would be able to expect, that's more the idea. You have the option of taking two completely different skill sets and putting them together, which, all things considered, is a very tabletop RPG concept. You will be able to choose your primary, and then later in the main story, your secondary class, and then mix and match those till two classes and skill trees. That's your character for the campaign, Matt Cox added. But once you beat the plot, you have the option to then go back afterwards and then respec your secondary class. So you have to stick with whatever your primary is, but after that, you're open to do whatever you want, however you want with your secondary class, which is cool.
That's really, really cool and really interesting. There are classes in D&D where you can kind of do that, where like sometimes it's a magical thing that happens. Sometimes it's just something you get as you level up, where you can change your mind and like change things around as you progress and level up. And definitely you can multi-class. I've played in a few D&D games recently, one on Rhyme with the Frost Maiden on Table Story, and another one on Kobold Press. And I actually play one with my mods. And in all of them, I played different characters, but I've never combined things yet. But I've watched other people do it to unbelievable effect. I'm mostly still learning. So I'm like trying one thing at a time until I figure them all out. But the fact that you could do this in this game is really incredible. It's going to make for some insane builds. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like
I'm pumped because I got into builds more in Borderlands 3 than I ever did in Borderlands 2. And so like I am super pumped for some crazy builds. I cannot wait to see what Moxie does and what Quag does. And I'm so excited. Like it's gonna be amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see, what else do we have here? Yes, your ability to shape your character does not end there. There's more to do beyond the skills that you will unlock via your primary and secondary classes. You will have hero points to spend as well in a very classic Dungeons and Dragons attribute style. And all of those things speak to different abilities like melee attributes or spell attributes or a skill cooldown attribute. It's like a character sheet, something that most of us are probably familiar with. According to Matt, you will be able to put hero points into your strength, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, constitution, and attunement. That last one's a little confusing for me, but hopefully we'll get some clarification on that one. These hero points are separate from the skill points that you'll also earn throughout the game. So wow, there are a lot of complex systems that are going to be running in tandem with each other as you're actually playing the game.
I wonder if attunement will work like D&D, because attunement in D&D is like, if you get a cool item, like let's say you get a ring of invisibility or something.
There's a process to unlock its full potential, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't just like put on the ring and use it immediately a lot of the time. You have to attune to it. So let's say you're an elf and you got this ring, you have to like meditate on it and like it takes some time. It takes a few long rests, that kind of thing. So maybe something similar will happen, and maybe it'll have something to do with like if you have higher attunement stat, you get to use the thing sooner, or you get to use the thing to a higher level, or maybe it unlocks some magical abilities in the thing, whatever it is, or maybe it doesn't have anything to do with things. But usually attunement in D&D has to do with items, right?
Well, no, exactly that. And in some areas of Dungeons and Dragons, there's things like blood magic rituals. Like there is a
there's no ritual.
I'm sorry, what?
There's
What?
no ritual.
Yeah, there's
It
no
might be a
ritual.
blood magic tradition, but there's no ritual.
So you have like intelligent weapons that are in there that in order to attune to them or to unlock the full potential, there's like sometimes there's like blood magic where you have to take the weapon and you have to physically deal more damage to you. And when that happens, the attunement process then begins because you've done whatever is required of that item to unlock it fully. And all of a sudden you've got this sword in your hand and you're hearing voices in the back of your head and you're talking to people in the middle of the field when nobody's around you, but stuff is still dying. You're doing all this damage. So what I'm saying with that is, what if they take that route with some of these discs? What if there's like, weapons that have these like hidden attunement, like, potentials on there, and you had to do like feats in order to fully unlock them?
Yeah, like, and maybe, so like we have vault cards and things like that, daily challenges, weekly challenges in Borderlands 3 now. What if attunement has something to do with that? It's like you're leveling up your item over the course of a certain amount of time. Maybe you won't even know what you have to do to attune to the item, but you'll have to do something special and you'll discover it along the way as you use it. Like imagine if the item, imagine if it's a gun and all of a sudden, like you're using it and you're killing enemies and all of a sudden it starts doing something different or starts talking to you, or who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, we have talking guns in Borderlands, right? So it's possible.
There was a game I played before where you got something, and a weapon or a sword or whatever, and you actually started using it, and it had like a thing that it was almost like an upgrade, but you didn't know how to upgrade it. You had to just go around and start killing things, and you didn't know what you needed to start killing until you killed that one enemy, and it started leveling up, and it started giving you a percentage. And so you were like, oh, okay, I need to kill goblins, or I need to kill skeletons or whatever. And then that you have to kill so many of those to then like level it up. Yeah. I think that would be super cool if we had items that you had to do that with.
It would be really neat.
Oh,
and I wonder, I wonder if having attunement points also like lets you, overpower certain abilities from your class or something like that. Like there's so many possibilities.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be neat.
And then somebody's even said like attunement to iridium in chat. Like, yeah, like that's a good idea. Like, because I mean, iridium is a part of, a huge part of Borderlands, like, right? So like, yeah, maybe iridium is going to be like one of those hard to come by things in the game, but you get it, and that's how you maybe attune things. Maybe that's how you upgrade certain things. Like that would be cool. Have an iridium, make iridium have a purpose. It's got a huge purpose.
Have weapons drop, melee and guns alike, and then have an invul to make them iridium forged. And they add special properties to them when you bring, like a random effect, that could potentially have them on there. I'm not necessarily like an anointment kind of dealio, but like set added stats. Maybe you get like a higher multiplier in the damage types that you're doing. Maybe you get a higher pellet count. Maybe you get a higher base damage, things like that. But like have an iridium forged and literally call it like an iridium forged weapon.
Yeah.
Take it to the blacksmith. You pay them the iridium. He takes that, he infuses it into the weapon, and random properties happen to it.
Iridium socketing. Someone in chat just said,
Ooh, yeah.
That would be
like gems
cool.
and stuff, but with iridium. Yeah. Have different types of iridium. Like have like different color types of it. So instead of gems, it's iridium, and each iridium does something different. It's like green iridium does this, gives you health and stuff like that, or like that would be cool. Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. That would be super. Oh man.
That is really
Hopefully
cool.
We're just giving Gearbox all these ideas and they're like, that's a good idea. We're going to implement that. They'll never know.
Pirate just said we can see a little bit of a purple splash at some point during the trailer. So maybe it's related to iridium. Who knows? What if there are other colors and you can collect every color of the rainbow of iridium types?
Yay.
That would be
I like rainbows.
And it's in Tina's mind, so they could do absolutely anything.
Literally anything.
And it would be okay because it's in her imagination. It's Dungeons and Dragons style gameplay, so they can literally do anything that they want.
Yeah.
100%.
That's
like
so
it doesn't
cool.
matter. They can bring back whoever they want. Dead, long gone, Handsome Jack, whatever. It doesn't matter. Bring back Handsome Jack.
You never know. To touch on a point that Mystique Siren pointed out a little bit earlier, continuing with the interview, you do have one sort of unique attribute that lives outside that list of hero stats, and that is luck.
Luck.
That is something that you can affect by completing an endgame challenge, whatever that may be, which was not defined here. The luckier you are, the more of that challenge you do, the better your loot chances are at a higher rarity. So now they have finally figured out a system, kind of a bad luck prevention system, literally, that circles back around to, okay, I'm going to go and farm. We'll use Borderlands 3 as an example here. I'm going to go farm Hemovorus 100 times. You farm Hemovorus 100 times and you've got whatever the set chance, percentage chance of getting a drop is, you're going to get it that many times. Now they're saying, okay, let's say there's a Hemovorus in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands or some sort of equivalent. You kill that 100 times, every time your percentage chance of getting something that you actually will want from it will raise higher and higher and higher. And it seems to indicate that this is a permanent addition too. That's very excited to see. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Before you reach the end game, you'll have to overcome the main campaign of Wonderlands, and that means dealing, of course, with Tiny Tina. Wonderlands takes place immediately after Dragon's Keep, like what we were talking about. So Tina is once again back to her rambunctious 13-year-old self, as opposed to the older, slightly more well-adjusted 20-year-old Tina that's seen in Borderlands 3. As BM, Tina is in control of the campaign, and so much like Dragon Keep, she will step into the scene, crack jokes, or roleplay akin to an actual D&D dungeon master, or as we would like to call it, a B&B master, a bunkers and badasses master. And that's one of the great things about Tina, Belmore says, that chaotic energy. It lends itself so well to the idea of a tabletop RPG where you have this unhinged bunker master, and she will absolutely shape the world in how she sees fit, which has huge effects on everything. The story is not reactive. It's like Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep, where it's just Tina playing out the plot line. And some of that plot line will take place in a third-person perspective. I'm really excited for this part. Third-person perspective, which is another departure from the Borderlands formula, which is how it always plays out, both in gameplay and in cutscenes. In first person, when traveling from place to place, Wonderlands will pan out to a tabletop view where you will see yourself and your allies if you're playing co-op as little miniatures. I love this. It is the overworld. We are getting an actual, it's not just, if I'm reading this correctly, fast travel's done. At least in this game, you now actually have to travel. I imagine they have ways for you to skip from where you're going one place to another, but you actually walk in an overworld in a little chibi model of yourself wherever you're going from place to place on a map. That's awesome.
Yeah, it sounds super JRPG-esque to me. I mean, I haven't seen it, but that's definitely the picture that it paints in my head. And it sounds amazing and adorable. I mean, it's kind of like we have the big head characters already.
Yeah,
in
they've got DK mode going on there.
Yeah, so I mean, this will be really, really cool. I'm so excited to see it. I just want to see it.
I've never played a game with this style ever. So I'm very excited to kind of, get into this style. And but I also read that it has its own story. Like each of these little overworld maps have like their own, like almost like side story.
It's a good point that you bring up there. What they say is, for example, you can have dynamic encounters. So while you're walking around, you can have a little enemy pop up and you will just get transported seamlessly into a first-person combat where you have to do a small fight, get your loot, and then pop back out to experience and explore the overworld again. So it really acts like, compared to previous games, a big zone that connects all of the other zones, which makes it a little bit more dungeon feeling at that point too, because you have your overworld and then you go to a dungeon literally, and you're supposed to like crawl through a dungeon. That's why they call it a dungeon crawler.
The customization you choose actually shows up in your bobblehead character as well, which is so cool. That's so cool. I mean, one of the things that I feel like I miss in Borderlands some of the time is that you can't really see your character. Like, you can see your friends' characters when you're playing co-op. You can only really see your character when you go into your menus, right? So this is going to give you an opportunity to see all of that cool customization that you've done for your character that you spent hours on, or maybe 5 minutes, depends on you. But you see all of that in that overworld in third person every time you're running around in little chibi form, which just sounds so adorable. I can't wait to see that. That's so cool.
There's so much more to this interview. I wanted to skip to one more highlight, especially because I know Vander is all about this. Movement during combat has evolved to better incorporate Wonderland's spell casting and melee attacks, as it has to, with Borderlands' existing shooter mechanics. The faster movement of Borderlands 3 returns, as does games that slide, ground pound, and clamber mechanics. I guess like mounting and stuff like that. I've never heard clamber before as a word, but sure. Wonderlands goes a step further, adding a new melee-focused movement mechanic. If you're out of melee range when you melee attack, you'll just glide into your enemy. It's an auto glide. So you can sprint and slide in like in Borderlands 3. And then if you melee at the end of your slide within the right distance of an enemy, you can continue gliding straight into that enemy and close the distance in a super, really fun way. I knew this was for you,
attack,
Vander.
baby!
Yeah, that sounds
Charge attack
amazing.
is what that is, good sir. That is your gap closer. That is your finisher. That is you get in their face.
Yeah.
Oh man, dude, can you imagine? So, what is it? Blitz in Amara skill tree kind of has this a little bit. When you, it's not a very heavily used skill. It's like I dare I say not a lot of people use it anymore. But it has a little bit of that mechanic, that gap closer. Because like if you use it, what is in like the 8-second window, you do that charge attack and then you land that melee out there, and it's like a really powerful attack. And I've got a fun build that I do that messes around with that stuff on there. But like this is taking that mechanic one step further. Is all it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. It's the fact that Belmore says it's as satisfying as it looks just makes me. I can imagine, because sliding, once you get it down in games, it feels so good because you can use it to get around. Like if you've ever had a snowdrift on your character in Borderlands and you've used it to get around really quickly, and then you can use it. And then I used to do this all the time when I was farming. There was an Amara mod that I farmed all the time on Necro Tefeo, and I would slide.
Spiritual driver.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
That was it. I would slide all the way there, literally to the boss, and then just like pop a couple things, and then the boss would die, and it was so satisfying. But this is built into the slide. You slide and then you kill, and you slide and then you stab. That's even better.
Yeah.
Oh.
And imagine like doing that, sliding, and then almost running out of slide. Melee get you there, and then maybe comboing that with a shotgun, like stab then shotgun. Like
oh my god, double tap. Just ensure that their head explodes and they are fully dead. That's great. I love it.
Just bring in a mechanic for me where you're on one side of the screen and then instantaneously you're literally doing that charge attack to an enemy with a two-handed axe going, "Four!" and then you golf swing and the enemy just flies off the map. I mean, come on, give me that.
So you want to golf in Wonderlands?
Yeah,
why not?
I want to golf in Wonderlands. Who does it?
Can you imagine like using a tink to go golfing too? Just take like a great hammer and just go boom, and you just see how far you hit it.
Like you have to step on his head to kind of like keep him in place, and then you just have to
and just whoop, 4, boom, off it goes. And there's an achievement for getting it as far as you possibly can, or something like that.
It's like a little mini game. Yeah.
I would play that.
Or tink bowling.
Oh my god, yes.
Tink bowling.
Let's do it.
Do you bowl with the tink, or are the tinks the pins and you have to use a bowling ball and hit the tinks?
Ooh, so there's the tinks are the pins, but you also use a mushroom.
There it is.
To roll.
Oh my god, yes.
The
shroom.
Tink butt.
Shroom
or mushroom butt.
Mushroom butt. That's gonna be a character in the game now.
Yes.
I bet Noelle's like feverishly typing them. How can we get an actual mushroom butt character in game? Please go immediately.
I think it exists, right? Because the character, like, it wouldn't have existed in the little, like on
GIF,
Twitter and all the things. It wouldn't have existed if it didn't exist. That art exists, so it has to be in the game.
Well, I think of like Face McShooty, right?
Yeah.
Like Face McShooty literally sits there and just screams about it. I could just imagine a little mushroom just like, it doesn't talk to you. It just sits there and shakes its butt, and that's all it does at you. Or it just like looks over. It refuses to do anything but present its butt and shake its butt at you, and then turn over and look at you to talk.
Well, it's like Dump Truck in Borderlands 3. Like he like turns around and like shakes his butt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Only a mushroom version.
Please.
I love how people thought that was such a cryptic thing that was happening on that Twitter account when they were announcing, hey, we get this many likes, we get that mushroom booty, and you saw so many people went cryptic, and then at the end of it, it was a mushroom butt.
It literally was. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I want more mushroom butt, please.
Well, Noelle made a pixel version.
She
of the
did.
mushroom
I
butt.
know. It's incredible. I love it.
It's adorable, and it dances. It's like doot, 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 doot. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yes. More mushroom butt, please.
Yes. So that's all we have, really. I know Mental Mars did a little bit of speculation. I think his character's speculation is pretty on point here. He suspects that there will be the warrior as a gun class, a fighter as a melee class, wizard as a magic class, a bard as a pet class, rangers that would use crossbows and bows for a class, and paladin that would just be, of course, your all-around tank class. I think that is probably in line with what the game probably has, if not things that are a little bit different, but that's about it. He's definitely on the money, especially with what they've revealed for all of the different attributes that you will have to use. Strength, dexterity, with like all of those fit into each one of those classes listed. So I don't know. I do know, however, that we have the inside track on the new weapon manufacturer names. Tess, what are they?
We do. We have some new names. Give me 1 second. Okay, so Jacobs has now become Black Powder. Bladoff is now Stoker. Interesting. I guess that makes sense. That does make sense. Doll is now Dahlia. Mollywan is now Malefactor? Jolt's Dude pointed out that it should have been Mollywand, which, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. COV is now Skulldugger. I love that. Tedior is now Ferior. Hyperion is now Hyperius. Last but not least, Torque is now, surprise, Torg. It's the same.
Torg!
Yes.
Yeah.
That's 100% what it should be. You can't change Mr. Torg's name. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, and mantling and sliding are likely confirmed. Like Mitsu said in that article, sliding has a cool new finisher mechanic, which sounds amazing. Polymorphing is an action skill, maybe? Interesting.
They showed in the trailer that polymorphing was something that was done. I think a shark got turned into something else. A sheep.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. So it's there's a like, how did that happen? Is that it? Yeah, like, and crowd control is something that the game has really struggled with for a while now. I know they tried to make a few attempts in Borderlands 2 where Maya could mind control enemies. In Borderlands 3, mind control came back with pets, and there was also Flax Trap. Yes, Flax Trap that lifts enemies up and then slams them down. So there are things out there along these lines, but this is the first time that you can actually just take something and just like remove it completely from play for a little bit and then save it for later if you want to deal with it that way.
Well, there's the Mesmer grenade. Vander actually uses that, right, Vander? And to be able to charge the crystals and Guardian takedown.
Oh yeah, no, you run a Moe's build with a Mesmer, and you're doing crystal phases on Guardian Takedown. I was actually taught this by members of the Mad Glenny from the community, and you just sit on the crystal phases, and you just, because grenade regeneration, ammo regeneration, you just toss enemies over there, and you go make a sandwich. You just toss more Mesmers out there. You go, mow your lawn, and you're still coming out there. And by the time that's over, you haven't been touched, and the crystal phases are done. Mesmer grenade, it's great.
Yeah,
get one.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Get one.
I'm wondering if when you turn the shark into the sheep, I wonder if you can at that point, if that sheep will like work for you.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Like, or if because it did we say that we had like an control class where you could control them? Is that what you're saying, Mitsu?
We don't know that. Yeah, we don't know that.
That was just like speculation by Mental Mars. Yeah.
And well, even with even with his speculation, so none of these classes are that specific, like, and this is speculation, right? If you base it on D&D, I don't know how it will work. I have a feeling that, like, if I don't know if there'll be like a pet class. I feel like pets will be something that's available to everybody. Also, you can always double class, so maybe there will be a pet class where you can focus and everybody else can just do it as a double. I don't know.
I think there's heavy value on what you just said, Tessa. You're not gonna get a psionics illithid mind flayer aspect. You're just not. Which is what in the D&D realm, that's kind of where that transverses to, the realm of psionics, the realm of the illithids, mind control, you know, the hive mind kind of dealio, all that crazy psychotic Cthulhu stuff, you know, that happens. You probably won't get that, although we would love to see it. I'm not gonna lie. Give me some mind players in the game. I'll fight them.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. We don't know. It's possible. Anything is possible.
There's actually, in one of the Borderlands comics, someone in my chat actually pointed this out to me. There is a siren. Her name's Ashna, and she actually can control animals. Like that's her ability. So imagine if we got that kind of, I mean, the abilities technically there as a siren ability. So like, why not a magical ability to control animals? Like, I mean, it seems like the magic abilities are kind of based off of how sirens do their thing. So like how, like whenever we do open the portals to bring the meteors down, that is totally like a phase grass look to the hand movement, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, why not be able to control animals? There's a siren in the universe that can do it. So
that would actually be amazing. That would be incredible. I mean, it's Tina's brain, so literally anything goes. That would be neat. It would be amazing to run around doing magic and melee and also have a pet. I just want all the things, please.
I feel like if you primary bard, maybe, and then assuming that that's like the pet class, right? According to Mental Mars' speculation. So let's say operate under the assumption that it's true. You primary class bard, and then you could secondary class wizard. And then you've got your magic and you've got your pets. And I assume bard's probably going to either use guns or melee or both. Yeah. So it's a bard. Bard's just jack of all trades. So like you'll have the option to do it however you want to. Again, pure speculation. But since there is the ability for you to essentially multi-class in this game, why not?
I wonder if musical things will be weapons, because in the trailer, right?
Yeah.
Playing the little,
like the loot that Tord was
on.
You just said that, yeah.
So like maybe that is, and it's not just like a cool scene in the trailer. Maybe that's him using an ability, or maybe that's him using an item to like affect the enemies
like
around him.
Sound wave, like a sound wave almost.
Yeah. And then you see like
really
you
cool.
play, because that's how bards actually work in D&D, right? They play their instruments or they sing a song and it like has a crazy magical effect or something, right? So I think, as far as I understand bards. So maybe it'll work the same way. Maybe bards will just be using musical instruments. Like imagine a bard plays a lute that like puts all the enemies to sleep.
Oh, so good.
I would love bard that. Charm. Yeah, exactly.
And then you could just take care of everything. Someone else come in and just destroy everything. Yeah.
Group buffs by way of musical instruments. Exactly. In chat. Thank you. That would be amazing.
That's the cooperative gameplay style and mechanics that I think Gearbox has been trying to cultivate ever since like early even technically since Borderlands 1.
Yeah.
Because even something as simple as Cauterize on Roland back in Borderlands 1 was predicated on, this is not an ability for you, this is an ability for you to be able to help people that you are playing with. You shoot them, but they get healed instead of damaged, people on your team. Right. So the natural extension has always been to try and create more mechanics and more things for cooperative 4-player experiences, because it's great when everybody just goes full DPS and you've got 4 people running around blowing everything up. But I think the real big challenge is convincing players in any game, Borderlands specifically here, but any game, that you don't always have to pick DPS, that doing a ton of damage is not always the right path. You need somebody who can take the damage. You need somebody who can heal the damage. You need people who can be able to mitigate sources of incoming damage. And then you need people on your team who do damage.
Yeah.
So if you have all 4 of those aspects represented in a Borderlands game, that's a huge step in favor of them as a developer being able to create and cultivate and express through that game mechanics that are really core to a role-playing game experience.
Yeah, I mean, clerics in D&D are like key when you don't have a cleric in your party.
It's a big deal.
So you have a hard time. I know, because I'm in a campaign, we don't have a cleric. Our cleric died.
I'd just like to point out that you can put as many of those mechanics into this as you want to. Jolt Dude and Moxie will still do it by themselves, no matter what.
Of course, and Lazy Data and Quag and all of those guys, 1000%. There will be some ridiculous builds, I'm sure, because it's possible. The other cool thing about this is because you have like a main class that you can't change, but then you have a secondary class. So not only do you have a secondary class, but you also can change that secondary class later, right? So you can like experiment and you can always make new characters, right? So let's say you start with one main class and you love that main class, and then you realize with your second class that you kind of want to explore support stuff, and you actually really enjoy doing the support stuff and you find yourself doing that more often. You could always make a new character and, you know, focus on the support stuff, or you could just use your second class. Or let's say you try something and it's not your favorite thing, you can always try a different secondary class. You could always have a character, maybe that's not a jack of all trades, but that focuses on multiple things. It's like having a major and a minor in college, right? Sometimes that works out. Sometimes it's really hard, but it can work out.
That's fine. Melee weapons. Absolutely everywhere. I've seen hammers, I've seen swords, I've seen scythes, I've seen axes. Like, what is out? Go ahead, Vander. You're smiling again, please. You go ahead. I know you want to say it.
What do you want me to say? There's so much.
I want you to say how you feel about it. Because I just listed 4 different types of weapons, right? And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that daggers are something that do make it in as well. Whether it be for some sort of ranged ranger class to have a melee option, or even for just whatever is the considered fighter class to be able to just walk up and maybe have that as a pathway down their tree as well. Just because daggers are cool. Big Rogue fan back in the day.
See, this is why this is such a dangerous road for me. And with we're all talking about Dungeons and Dragons so much because like when I look at those classic items,
sure,
and the history of them throughout video game series, tabletops, and whatnot, some very finite items have very finite themes that point the way to some different things. One weapon in particular you mentioned was the scythe. Does that mean there's necrotic stuff in this game?
Oh my God, that would be crazy and really cool.
Undead.
Boy.
Raising the undead. Animate dead type stuff.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God,
that would be a subsection of the withered class. That's actually true.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
You're asking about these melee weapons, and I'm like, could some of these weapons be a precursor to some of the features that could potentially, put into the game that nobody saw coming?
Man, death spells are crazy. I actually just finished a campaign on Kobold Press where I was a very happy, positive little turtle character that just happened to be a death cleric. And I had so much fun just looking up all of the spells. I didn't even have access to all of the spells, but I got access to some of them. And they're insane. You could do insane things. Necromancy, death cleric, cool stuff. Really cool stuff. You can heal and you can cause necrotic decay, and it's amazing. It's
so
really cool.
That overworld, I posited several questions. One of them was, is it a simple fast travel system with gimmicks, or is it an integral part of the storyline experience? It seems to be a very integral part of the storyline experience going forward. And even after the game is over, with random encounters being able to happen, I think it is kind of a big deal that you take advantage of everything that it has to offer. I'm hoping, a la Super Mario World, that it has hidden secrets on it, maybe things that you have to do that you might not be able to see right off the gate. That would be really cool to be able to like do that affect the way maybe levels look when you're actually in them, or how you actually approach certain things, or maybe it leads to a secret area, a level that you might not see on the mini map or the overworld map typically. But then when you actually do a thing on the overworld map, now it unlocks a new area.
That's so cool. That sounds incredible. So there's a reason for you to explore that overworld and actually find the little nooks and crannies, and there might be cool stuff there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I just want to point out, somebody in chat just said, Launchpad Nation, thank you very much, necromancy. I'm just gonna put that out there as a word. How cool would that be?
I'm not opposed, but I don't know if it fits Tiny Tina's. Now, if we were talking, if this was Borderlands 4 and we're doing, we're taking all of the RPG mechanics that were established here, bringing it into Borderlands 4, then I'd be like, okay, now we can, let's say you have a class leader. You could have Gage be your class leader as a Necromancer in Borderlands 4. And like you learn all of your skills on how to do necromancy from her.
Constructs were a thing in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, there are artificers
at all.
I thought they would be classified under something else.
No, there's artificers, which make all sorts of crazy things, and also like steampunk as a genre totally would fit in the Bunkers and Badasses D&D.
Dwarven artificers, and they make the constructs, the animated constructs that are enchanted and that protected their grounds while they worked. Yeah.
Just thoughts, just crazy wild thoughts. But that whole idea of having the overworld and having little like dungeons and little sneaky hidden secrets, that is so awesome, because there's so many little tidbits in Borderlands, in the world of, or the worlds of Borderlands, right now, where you go and you find like little art things and little like sneaky Easter eggs and things like that, and I love finding that. I know lots of people. I know Tweety goes on about it all the time, where she like literally goes on little Easter egg hunts. That would be incredible in the overworld if those little things you find actually lead you to like a dungeon or something special that you can find. That's amazing.
They said in the for the overworld that if you come upon like an enemy, you'll actually go back into first person view.
Yes.
Yeah.
And battle them and then collect your loot, and then you'll go back into overworld.
That is
mode.
super JRPG kind of like fantasy game, old school RPG style. I've actually played games that do that. That's absolutely a thing, and it's adorable.
I kind of hoped that they would take an aspect from the Dungeons and Dragons world and like in those, so keep the overworld encounters like that. So you're going along, all of a sudden, that classic, turn-based flash happens and then boom, you get right into the combat right there. What if there was some rare encounters that had set out the grid maps with actual figure characters, and you had these like rare encounters that were turn-based encounters and could give you like, I don't know, different types of rewards, alternate types of rewards on that. So you not only had the FPS type encounter, but on the rare occasion, you come across the turn-based encounter, which is you, miniatures, on a grid map, maybe with a couple little dice, a pile of papers, character sheets, some pencils and stuff like that. And then you had your enemy miniatures and your miniatures, and it was a turn-based battle.
That would be so cool. I would love that.
That would be cool.
I'm in for that.
Yeah, that would be really sick. I agree. That would be that would be interesting.
Yes. So there was
nothing confirmed on that. That's complete speculation.
We're speculation city.
Now.
We've already
Yeah.
We live in speculation city on this episode. Just saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of this episode is speculation.
We just it's a lot of wait and see, but boy, we're
our
excited
hopes
for the
and dreams. We are relaying our hopes and dreams to you right now.
We hope to speak it into reality.
Yes. There was a chest shown on the overworld map, which seems to indicate that it will have some sort of looting presence in the game as well. So it makes me wonder if there might be certain items, gear, that you can only obtain through the overworld. Because if there's one thing we've learned from Borderlands 3, I'm going to point this out here and just be very blunt about it. It's that targeting loot drops works. People want to go to a certain place to farm the things that they want over and over again. And the overworld, and I really like what they're doing with this overworld, the overworld is another place, another mechanic, another space where this can be utilized and leveraged. You have to find a chest somewhere in the overworld in order to get this thing, this special thing, or maybe it only drops off of a random encounter. I'll use an example because it just came to my mind. Final Fantasy 3. I imagine 4 too. Final Fantasy 3. In order to farm all the proper armor for your Onion Knight armor, you had to farm these like very specific mobs in this very specific area in the last area of the entire game. And that's it. So it's there very specifically. We're going really hard into fantasy. The precedent is set. Get us some places to go farm on that overworld. Get us some random encounters to go really
put
searching
Final
for this.
Fantasy
I'm
IV
in.
into my head on this. Don't do it. Don't
It's too
do
late.
it.
It happened.
Don't
It
do
happened.
it.
It was
It's
already
already
in mine.
there, and we've already established that like Borderlands 3 really turned a corner and became a huge success when there were targeted farming places for people to go. And now if you're saying, okay, you want the best of the best of the best, you got to go really dig deep into that overworld and find some good things. But they're tough kills, but there's some good things out there.
I think that I hope, anyways, that because we got introduced into vault cards, right, with DLC 6 in Borderlands 3. I really hope that they continue vault cards in Wonderlands, because I mean, it gives you so much more like to do, especially on a weekly and a daily basis. I really hope to see vault cards come into Wonderlands as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. They haven't said anything like that. I have okay, so the whole speculation about attunement, we don't really know how that will work. But I super agree with you. I'm assuming there will be some of the things in Wonderlands that currently exist in Borderlands 3, because same company, right? They're going to just continue to bring things forward that there's a good community response to, and the community response to things like wall cards has been amazing, right? We love it. It's super fun. Like you said, it's a great reason to keep coming back. It's something fun to do when you just like want to chill in the evening after work or whatever. So very, very, very cool mechanic. Definitely agree with you that I hope they bring it back. I like the wandering vendor that is Maurice a lot also.
Yes.
I hope that's a thing, especially for like, imagine if it was a vendor that sold special items that you would need to attune, right? So
Ooh.
just like a defensive cloak that like, I have one in one of my D&D games that like creates a copy of myself. So it's kind of like Zane's double, right? But it's an item that you have to find and you have to attune, and you can only maybe get it from the special vendor, something like that. It would be so cool. There's so many possibilities. You can literally come up with anything and everything.
I can't wait. I am
I'm so
very,
excited.
very excited for what's to come. And finally, in my notes here, I wanted to get one more out here because we'll make mention of it one more time. And it kind of confuses me a little bit, like mushroom butt. I don't get it. Why is everybody so excited about the rear end of an anthropomorphic mushroom enemy? Did I like miss a memo there?
Mushrooms
that-
are
is it really that
adorable,
big?
and it's a
I'm
really
gonna
cute
let
butt.
y'all talk about that one, man. I ain't got nothing to say.
I
It's a
mean,
cute little booty.
yeah, we
Come
like cute
on.
butts. What's wrong with that?
Like, look at all the butt emotes that we have on Twitch.
Yeah, hello.
That's not saying much.
Weird, creepy mushroom enemy. You
It's
want to see
not
the
creepy. Mushrooms.
It's a little
Okay.
creepy.
Mushrooms are delicious and they're adorable.
How funny would it be if you kill the mushroom and he falls flat on his face, and then you walk up to him and there's just like this little butt on the ground? You're just like, oh, I killed that thing.
I'll give it to you, but
so
only if
very
he
round.
like toots as he's dying, and as he toots,
It's
like
like-
that's where the gun comes out, like Butt Stallion does in 2.
Like, they could be loot tanks. The mushrooms could be loot
Yes.
tanks essentially. And
Oh my
yeah,
God.
when you kill them, they fall flat on their face, and then then the loot comes out of their butt.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Poop loot. Loot poop. Yes.
Poop loot.
Oh man.
Loot poop. I want loot poop. That's
Yeah, look at
I'm
that
just gonna
penis.
say
Look at
one
Tina's
more
butt.
time.
Penis
A
butt.
bunch of people thought it was going to be some cryptic thing when they talked about the shroom booty, and then they got what they asked for: a mushroom with a booty.
Yeah.
I mean,
What if it's like a loot tank where literally you kill it and then you have to walk up and just press E and poke it, and then it goes and then it just that's how you get it out of it.
Yeah. It'll
It's like-
it toots and then loot.
Yes.
Good
A toot and loot.
Totally.
There it is. The old toot and loot.
Yeah. Toot and then loot.
so good.
I feel like that's my everyday life: tooting and looting.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
good.
Shannon's saying all the time. Wow!
Oh yeah, that's right. Wise goes a looter tutor or a
Looter
tutor
tutor.
shooter.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Mitsu, we're gonna get some real bad comments in the YouTube
Oh,
section.
man.
Why aren't you being professional?
Are you kidding me? I don't. How did I wind up in this job? I'm like the least. I have a green mug on a green screen, and Everybody just accepts, oh, that's just Mitsu. That's what he's going to do. Okay,
it's
cool.
Just floating
Excellent.
eyes that apparently
Yes.
provide you with sustenance.
Yes, that is exactly what happens here. I get, We're the least professional yet most professional stream on twitch.tv.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Fun,
Oh,
having a
boy.
little fun, man. That's all I can say. We're having a little fun.
You have to. We've finally gotten through all of our wonderful news pertaining to Wonderlands. There's more news to come. I promise you there is. But before we start wrapping things up, I wanted to talk a little bit about Borderlands 3's anniversary. It is, in fact, the second anniversary of Borderlands 3, or it was on Monday. And anniversaries mean something. You know, my wife and I, we had our second anniversary very recently back in June. I'm a big fan of birthdays. Tess and I celebrating one very soon. Mystique celebrating one even sooner. Uh-huh. So I think it's important to honor these days with a little bit of reflection. And one of the things that I was kind enough to have provided to me, thanks to the wonderful Sheriff Pyrrhic, is a lot of stories that came from the actual community, you guys out there. And if you have any stories that you would like to share, and you're in chat right now over on Twitch, by all means, type it out. Type out a memory. Type out something, and if it's something we can get to, we will absolutely read it. But I'm going to read a few of these right here, starting with Zataran, who says, I remember the first time I beat Troy Calypso and was genuinely shocked when it looked like the game was about to end, only for it to count down from 4 to 1. I started crying in laughter like, holy shit, that joke was delivered beautifully. Tess, did you get faked out?
Yeah, well, sort of. I kind of was like, no, they wouldn't. They wouldn't.
That was the same. I had the same reaction. It was like, and then I was just like, I went.
It wasn't long
no.
enough for me to get mad.
Yeah,
it was the timing, the comedic timing in Borderlands in the entire franchise is just chef's kiss. Like, it's really amazing. And yeah, that was definitely like, if it had been just a little bit longer, I think I would have really doubted, but I didn't get a chance to doubt. I was just kind of like, no. Okay. That was great.
That was a very good one. Let's see. Of course, Lazy chiming in, winning both Twitch Rivals and the Hunt 2021. He loves how much this game can let you push builds and ideas to the limit in so many different and unique and interesting ways, which is super cool. Lazy, of course, being a long time member of the community and a long time streamer and just a wonderful friend. Good to have him on too whenever we have the genuine pleasure of doing so. Rune for short, my favorite thing about Borderlands 3 is all the friends I made while playing the game. I got to learn from so many people, and now I get to teach others. I love the builds and the endgame. It's truly wonderful, and it also helped make quarantine bearable. That's something we said a lot, especially when things started locking down here on the program. So, yeah, it's amazing the community that has developed around Borderlands. I mean, we've been going strong for ever and ever, and we're always adding new people in. People who are coming from other spaces, other games. I really can't think of one that's more welcoming and inviting. And I'm not saying that just because, oh, he's here, he has to say that. It's just, I've been around a long time. I've been playing video games for the better part of 31 years. It's not an exaggeration. That does date me a little bit. Like,
I said this last stream, but I remember watching Mitsu like when I was first starting out as a streamer and first found Twitch and was just watching other streamers, and he was one of the people that I watched. There's a couple of stories in chat. Also, Alex Redbeard and his wife, and he started playing back with BL1, and now Wonderlands actually drops on their anniversary here, which is super cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Great gift.
And then Launchpad Nation, favorite memory was watching the Swamp Bro fly up into space. That's definitely,
that was a good one.
Very good one.
From the server mom herself, Sheriff Pyrrhic, I think the most important thing that Borderlands brought to me is the lovely community that I share excitement for the game with, waiting in anticipation for new DLCs and hotfixes every single week. I think I will say that discovering Promethea is my turning point, though. First of all, we finally take off Pandora, and this is the first new world we discover. Second of all, one of my favorite NPCs is introduced here, Lorelei. She is absolutely amazing, and I love everything about her. Third, and most importantly, my favorite character in the whole series, Reese, returns with glorious looks. No mustache. No, I disagree with you.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see how his story from Tales carried on and how, despite his new position, he still holds the same traits as his younger self. I like that one. That's really good.
That is really awesome. Sheriff Pyric, by the way, server mom of the Discord, the official Discord for Borderlands. We also have Grumpy Reaper in here hanging out, who's amazing. Make sure to check out the Discord, you guys. If you just Google Borderlands Discord or search Discord for Borderlands, or you can always type !Discord in the Twitch chat, and you'll find it. And it's a really, really good place. It's a really good community of people. The Reddit, of course, is also amazing. But the Discord is great because you can literally use it to chat and get to know people and have people to play with. And they do like cool meet the streamer shows, and they host like contests and things like that. So just join. It's a really fun place, I promise.
Speaking of Grumpy, real quick, his favorite moment of Borderlands 3 is twofold. So you could say he's actually cheating by dropping 2 moments. For one, it was the people that he got to know, the friends that he made, and the opportunities that he was given, which he will be forever thankful for. Having watched the Discord and the community as a whole grow over the last 2 years definitely fills his heart. He has nothing but love for the people that he gets to spend time with in the community every day. As for the game itself, it is the fact that Gearbox managed to make 4 classes that felt so strongly unique that it felt like a completely new game with each individual character. I felt so at home with these characters, he says, from the minute he picked it up at that Echo at the bus stop, that he knew it was bizarre. The skill and item build diversity has made this game stay fresh for so long already, and it is his personal game of the year since 2019. Oh, that was really nice.
Yeah. There was one in chat from Charmbinder. It says, me and my girlfriend were playing Borderlands 2 when it came out, and we were just friends at the time. And I said, I love this turret. But she heard, I love this, and said, I love hanging out like this too. And you we love hanging out like this too. And then we began dating.
Oh,
I know. Isn't that sweet?
that's so cute.
I'm gonna cry a little
So
bit.
Borderlands, it's thanks to Borderlands, you now have a girlfriend.
What is it I said a long time ago? It's amazing how a game where you blow people apart brings so many people together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Some of my like closest friends on Twitch and some of my like first mods that are still around and hang out in my stream and have supported me for the last 7.5 years came from Borderlands. And I don't think I would have taken streaming seriously if I hadn't actually started playing this game, because the community just like surrounded me and was like, love. And I was like, oh, and it was so nice. I felt so welcomed. And this was 7 years ago, and I still feel so welcomed. And I feel like that is the feeling for every new player that comes into it and gets into this community, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
So excited.
I'm sorry.
No, please. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, on that note, when I showed up, Tessa, and I started streaming this game on the regular basis, and I just started no-lifing it, there's a little bit of phenomenon in Twitch streaming that you get the rare pleasure of experiencing, and that instead of you choosing the directory chooses you. And that's something that happens in the Borderlands directory.
Yeah.
I showed up. I just wanted to play some Borderlands. I wanted to have some fun making builds, playing the game, being passionate about that stuff. And there's just like, there's those rare instances where you're chosen by the director and you're like, no, yeah, we want you playing this game, and come play Borderlands with us. And that's probably the most prominent feeling I've gotten, like, Twitch streaming this Borderlands thing and eventually becoming a member of the content creator team. Yeah. But it's like, I at this stage in the game, I don't feel like I chose Borderlands. I feel like it chose me.
We're gonna talk about that towards the end of the show, but I definitely know what you're saying, and I agree with it 100%. 100%. The week that goes, God, favorite memory. Tales was my first Borderlands game, and I'm most attracted to those characters. So the absolute excitement that I felt to get to interact with Vaughn and Reese again is insurmountable. Plus, if we're going real general, I really just like seeing Flack and other queer characters in the game. Having an NB character isn't something that you would see often, though Zero kind of is. I never played as him, lol. So having that in a really big game means a lot. We talk about it. Representation does matter when we're playing Borderlands.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's one of the best games that one of the biggest and one of the most representative games, I think. It's one of the most incredible feelings to find a character that you can really like feel like is a good avatar for yourself. Like you can see examples of all kinds of characters, either one that you play or NPCs that you interact with, and you can find that common ground with that character, and it really, really makes a huge difference. It makes you feel included. It makes you feel like one of the team, and it's an amazing feeling. And Borderlands has done so much for so many like marginalized communities, and it's a really, really, really cool, honorable thing. I think it's an honor to represent this community in any way on stream, largely because of that.
Yes. One more, because there's a ton of them, and I wish we had the time to get to all of them, but we're so way over, and there's still a little bit more to do. So one more from the Borderlands Discord. Verotnas says, for me, I got into Borderlands at the beginning because my brother got me into it. Borderlands 3 is a continuance of a game series that has given something to me and my brother, which we enjoy playing together. It's one series that I will always come back to. The alternate firing modes, the fourth skill trees, especially with Flak and Moze, and I really enjoyed the first 4 DLCs. It's a game that you just keep getting more and more from, and it gives back as much as it takes, you know. And takes is only your time, and it gives back just the wonderful memories that we all get to make together from playing this game, from immersing ourselves in this community. All right, so since we have all of you here, I figured we'll start with Mystique Siren. What's something that really sticks out on the second anniversary of Borderlands that you wanted to share?
Oh man. I mean, I never thought that, me, working in video game retail, and for some reason, Borderlands, like the game just like stood out to me. And the fact, like, if I could go back to that moment in that store and like see that, and then tell myself like that this happens for me later on, like with the whole community and the team, I would be like, you're lying. I mean, it's just like, just meeting so many amazing and wonderful people in the community is, I mean, because I could talk about the video games for hours on end, like the whole series. But the game means so much to me, and has literally turned my life upside down and done so many things for me. But it's of course, everybody's going to say this, it's always the people that you meet along the way. And I definitely can say that I've made a lot of friends via Borderlands, whether it be, just being able to talk about it when I worked video game retail. I met a lot of people and introduced a lot of people to Borderlands, and they would come back and be like, thank you so much. Like, this game is amazing, to now streaming full time and be able to share my passion for the series. And I get to sit here and say, I get to play my favorite game as work. And that's amazing. And I get to say that I get to call, a bunch of people friends, and I can sit here and, say like, you guys, like, I consider you guys my friends, and if it wouldn't have been for Borderlands, I would have never met you guys. So, and I think that is honestly the greatest thing, that has come from Borderlands for me, is just meeting all these wonderful people in the community. And I cannot wait for what's to come. So,
Vander, you're up, bud.
Man.
I know it's hard, right?
A lot can be said. Well, yes, in choosing one single fact out of the thousands of things I think about. I think
it's hard.
What sticks out to me is something that I take very fundamentally as, just as characters, who I am as a human being. Borderlands is a franchise that unapologetically shows who it is not afraid to show who it is, and how goofy it can be, how out there it can be, how over the top it can be, and how it doesn't care what anybody else thinks about it, because its heart is in the right place and they're out there having fun. They're making something that they consider to be a work of art, something that's cool. And, they show it. They're unapologetically loud about it. They're enthusiastic about it. And, it's a kind of a full force ahead, take no prisoners kind of dealio. And, looking at where the franchise started and where it is now and how they write their games and the humor that they put into it and the little nuances and flashbacks to different like nostalgic things like red text on weapons going nostalgic to all sorts of different movies, TV shows, video games, music kind of deal. It's like they're not afraid to show who they are as a franchise. And that's kind of something that's always been fundamental with me, because like it was a way that I was able to just be silly and goofy and loud and crazy and, be unapologetic about it and be surrounded by the best damn people.
There you go. Okay. Tess, if you want to share a story, by all means.
God, there's so many. It's hard to pick just one. I mean, honestly, the way that I found Borderlands in the first place, I was streaming. I think I spent 3 days maybe streaming something else when I first started streaming on Twitch. And there was a viewer that came in, and it was like him and like 3 other people that were hanging out, and they were all my friends from EVE Online, which I used to play all the time. And those friends had suggested I try streaming on Twitch because I was so used to hanging out with people while playing a game and talking to them on voice chat. And I wanted to play some like single player things. I wanted to explore some other genres of game and blah blah blah. But I missed them. I missed friends and hanging out with them and playing together, right? And so they were like, just stream on Twitch. And then so this viewer came in and he was like, so what kind of games do you like to play? And I'm like, well, I've basically been playing this one game for years, and I want to try other stuff. And I don't really know what I want to try, but I like first person, and I haven't really done that very much. I've never really played a shooter, but I kind of want to try a good shooter. But I want one that has that like community feel. And he was like, you should try Borderlands 2 at the time. That was the thing. And so I was like, sure, I looked it up on Steam. I immediately bought it. I immediately started playing it. And literally the rest is history. Like I immediately had so many people just flood into my stream and come hang out and show me, where all the cool stuff was and how to do everything. And I just played with viewers and it's weird to even call them viewers because they were all my friends and they became my friends through this game. And one of them was my very second subscriber and second mod ever, Sango. He's still a mod, we're still friends, and 7 years later, and it's crazy. Like I know his family, and it's crazy to me how this game becomes such a part of our lives, how this community becomes such a huge instrumental part of our community. I don't think I would have known half the people I know now. I don't think I would still be streaming at all. I don't think that I would have ever taken it so seriously as a full-time job or career if not for that Borderlands community kind of showing me that support and just welcoming me. And it's just such a fun game. And it's so inclusive. It really is so inclusive. And that's the best part for me.
Some of the most life-changing stories are not necessarily told by telling you the greatest ending of all time, but the journey getting there. And that's kind of what I feel with you saying.
Yeah. Definitely. What about you, Mitsu?
Already getting there.
Oh boy. Well, okay.
Okay, get ready to get the tissues.
Cry! Sorry.
Okay. So apparently I didn't know this, but people sometimes ask for a Mitsu speech. I have no idea why, but I felt that it was important to do on the second anniversary of Borderlands. You chose me. Vanderforge said it best a little while. This is why do you want to know, by the way, what my show notes look like right now? Mitsu speech ending comments pertaining to second year anniversary. I don't write these things in advance. I just say. And Vanderforge said it best. You out there chose me. And when I got started all those years ago, 8 years ago, however long, 8.5 years ago, when I started streaming, I mentioned this a lot. I played a lot of different games. I played all of these different games from all of these different publishers, everything. But the one game, the one directory, the one place where people always came back to watch what I was doing was Borderlands 2. Every single time. And after a while, when you're an aspiring content creator, you pick up on those things. You start seeing the same faces come in and day out. You start making a connection with them. You ask them about their lives. You don't get involved per se, but you really get to know a sense of who they are. And so when I think about Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3 and the pre-sequel and Tales, I think of how profound it was that all of you out there chose me to play this game, to entertain you, to inform you, to bring all of this here when we do the Bordercast and the Borderlands show, and we did Ultimate Vault Hunters, and hopefully we get to do all of these crazy cool things with Wonderlands and Borderlands 4, whatever comes down the pipeline for everything involving Borderlands. Maybe we'll even get a Tales 2. Who knows? But my point is, you made that happen, and you created a community, because I can't do it. Nobody can do it alone. You need to create a community around it, and you all came together and created a wonderful, accepting, warm, loving, inviting community that came together over a game that blows people apart, like I literally just said. And there's so much to be said for that. There's so much to be said for all of these wonderful individuals coming together to share in the joy and the passion and the love for all things Borderlands, as Tess likes to say, we break down here every single week. And I can't express our deep and profound gratitude to all of you out there. So with that in mind, I would love to thank Scott, Josh, George, Mel, Noel, Elisa, Graham, Anthony, Matt, Max, Greg and Fran at Kinda Funny Games, the Borderlands and Knights of Butt Stallion stream/content creation teams, Ariana Greenblatt and the entire film team and crew for the Borderlands movie. Of course, the man himself, Randy Pitchford, our unofficial producers for this week's show, Mental Mars and Sheriff Pyrrhic, and of course to everybody at 2K and Gearbox for another amazing year of Borderlands 3. And of course, here is to many, many more. My cup is empty, but if it was full, just imagine it is, I would be taking a sip with all of you right now.
Love and a drink of water.
We love you guys. We love all of you watching. Thank you so much for doing so. We can't express it enough. We would not be here without you. Literally on the fan side and the creation side, we owe it to all of you. And we hope that we have been a bridge from the community to the developers and publishers and back again, and to the content creators, a bridge for them as well. That's what we strive to do here on the Bordercast. And we are truly humbled and blessed that you join us as you do every single week. Tess, with all that being said, would you like to start bringing us home?
Sure. You guys, thank you so much, Vander and Mystique and Mitsu for joining us. Mitsu always, and you guys, whenever you choose to stop by, we really appreciate it. Thank you to every single one of you guys that are watching on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Steam. You guys are incredible. Thank you for all of our listeners on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, YouTube Music, and Stitcher for stopping by every week on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. We appreciate you so much. The show would not exist if not for you guys. It would not exist if not for the incredible support of the entire Borderlands community. And again, like Mitsu said, huge thank you to Scott and Josh and George and Mel and Noel and Lisa and Graham and Anthony and Matt and Max and Greg and Fran and Randy. And Ariana is amazing, and everybody that works on the movie, because you guys are amazing and you're a huge inspiration. And just everybody on our teams, everybody out there watching, everybody in the Discord, everybody in the Reddit, everybody on Twitter that is kind and respectful and awesome. There are so many of you guys. The positive voices far outweigh anybody else. And we appreciate you guys so much. You guys are actually amazing. So thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you for inspiring us, inspiring the devs, and playing the game with us and enjoying it with us. We seriously appreciate it so much. Next week, we're going to have a very cool, very, very special live interview on the Bordercast, by the way. Another huge thank you goes to everybody that's ever played Borderlands Science, because not only are you guys enjoying a cool feature in Borderlands, but you guys are actually helping push real science forward and helping potentially create some incredible medical breakthroughs in the future. We're going to talk about it more next week. It's going to be really, really cool. So definitely stop by for that. The minds behind Borderlands science, Jerome Waldispool and Dr. Rob Knight, Attila Zanser, and Gabriel Richard. I'm so sorry if I butchered any of those names. They're all contributing minds that worked on Borderlands science, some incredible people. So if you guys have questions, by the way, for them, check them at us on Twitter. That's probably the best place, or Discord, whichever. And let us know what you'd like to know. We'll be asking them all the questions live. That'll be really fun.
Real quick, plugs. Tess, where can they find you?
Oh, twitch.tv/Tessichka and Tess Games on Twitter and Instagram.
Mystique?
It is a Mystique Siren on absolutely everything. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. Mystique and Siren is Mystique is MYSTIQUE and Siren is like wee woo wee woo.
Hey!
Oh man, Mitsu. But yeah, it's Mystique Siren on everything. Trying to do better at YouTube now that Wonderlands is coming out and all that. But and I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Thanks. Bye.
And Vander?
If you're looking for screaming, if you want to piss off your neighbors, if you want to talk about food and get hungry at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you want to listen to extreme metal in the middle of the night, twitch.tv/Vanderforge is the place for you, where I stream whenever I want.
It's true.
Sold.
You just
It
don't
is
know
true.
when it's going to
Vander
happen.
actually has a really cool thing that his lovely partner made
Uh-oh,
for
here
him.
it comes.
I
Here
just
it
kind of want to
comes.
show it
Yes,
to
we
you
almost
guys.
Preface. I will never, ever be this cool in my entire life. My beloved, my birthday was on the 5th of this month. My birthday was on the 5th of this month, and that is what my beloved did for me on my birthday. She made me into a vault hunter. I look at that and I look in the mirror and I go, ugly? Awesome.
No.
And I will never look that cool. That's so good, I'll never be able to cosplay that.
Oh my God,
ever.
make me.
Ever.
Make me.
So good.
How cool is that, right?
It's
Seriously.
so good.
First of
I'll
all,
never be
you're
able to
beautiful.
cosplay that. It's so
You're
good.
all
Ever.
beautiful in your current form.
Yes.
You're absolutely beautiful. But this is a beautiful
Oh my.
Vault Hunter version of Vanderforge. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because it's really cool.
How many butt touches and cookies do I need to give to Shans to make me into a vault hunter? Because
He's in the chat. Why didn't you ask her?
Yeah, please, can I also has?
oh my
That would be
gosh.
amazing.
Like that is absolutely gorgeous.
There are 4 of us here. I would just like to point out, by the way.
All of our birthdays were in September too.
And all
That's
of our birthdays
true.
are- Holy shit,
It
that's
was.
true.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my
Yep.
Christ.
September babies.
Yes.
Oh boy. All right. I
That's why we get along all so well. I feel like.
Maybe.
believe that.
Mhm.
Maybe.
All right. And as for me, twitch.tv/Mitsu, if I am ever live, which does happen from time to time. Twitter.com/Mitsu Show, MITSUSHOW, for all of my ridiculous tweets. Also, you can, of course, see the retweets of everything that happened earlier, Ariana's picture, all of the stories, all that stuff. Either it'll be posted eventually or very soon. I'm overwhelmed. I didn't think I'd break down towards the end there, but I'm trying to hold it in. I'm gonna keep it right until we get off.
I had to
But
fight it back.
yeah, it's been an amazing 2 years, and I can't wait to see where the story and the series of the Borderlands goes next. So here we go. On behalf of Tess, myself, and the entire content creation team, both Borderlands and now the Knights of Butt Stallion, thank you so much for joining us as you do every single week. Now go forth and make some mayhem.